After a long awaited time, we are back, and it is your favorite day of the week. It's the Childish Grown Up Show, where we like to talk about films that we grew up on with a twist. Now, here's how the show is laid out for our new listeners. Our old listeners, what's up, what's happening, welcome back. But our new listeners is laid out just like how your movie experience used to be. You used to go to the movies, you play a few games, watch a few previews, and before you know it, you get into your featured presentation. And that's what we like to do here. So y'all stay in your seats. Don't try to go take a bathroom break. Don't try to get some more popcorn. Stay seated. The feature presentation is coming, so don't jump into the pod like, oh, they taking too long to get to the movie. This is your movie theater experience. That's what we want to create here. So I am Maurice Hunter Third, aka Mo. I'm here with my two wonderful uh not only co-hosts but fire mothers. You know what I'm saying? Ash Bash and Mia G. Ladies, how y'all doing, and how was y'all Mother's Day in our Mother May I month?
I'm feeling good. I had a great Mother's Day. I got to spend time with my mother. She came over and we cooked a meal together instead of going out. She made some of my favorite dishes, and I was able to present her some gifts. And
What dish?
my husband, he got so we made some fried chicken tenders. She made me some hot water cornbread because I love that, and I can't make it for nothing. Like I just can't do it. We made some green beans and some mashed potatoes. And
Mm.
then we baked some cookies for Anthony after. So yeah, we was eating good. And I had wanted a knife set and a tote bag for work. So that's what my husband got me. That's how I know I'm getting old. I said I want a knife set. So yeah, bro, when you
Hey,
come in town, you can't talk
yes,
about my knives no more.
yes.
And I got a tote bag because us ladies, Mia, you have your drink, you got your coffee, you might have your water, got your purse, got your lunchbox. It's just too much. So he got me a tote. It's purple. That's my favorite color. So I can put all of it in one, when I go in the building. So I'm very excited.
I love that. It's so grown. Like, that's really like
Yeah.
it's the little things. It really, Oh man.
Facts.
Shout out to moms. Mom, happy belated. I know I told you on there, but happy belated if you so happen to come across this episode. Mia G, how about you? How you feeling? How was your Mother's Day?
I'm feeling good. Got a lot going on this month between Mother's Day, ballet recitals, weddings, all that. But Mother's Day was great. I always try to do a little getaway vacation Mother's Day weekend. And then, on Mother's Day, I'll, be back around them kids. But this Mother's Day, me and Mama C went to brunch with my aunt, and that was really nice. I always love spending time with my mama. She's like my bestie. And then I went home, and my dad lives right next door. So me and my little people went over there and just hung out. I fell asleep on the couch while everybody else watched my children for me. So it was pretty
And,
good.
ain't no better gift than that. Let me rest in peace. You know what I mean? While I'm alive. You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was fun. I had a good time, but it was one of the most kind of like chill, relaxing Mother's Day.
I ain't mad at that. For me, um, so what I did was I came up with an idea to cook. I was gonna cook for my wife. I mean, I cook all the time, so it's not a shocker. But I was like, well, how about I cook for all of the moms? You know what I mean? So her mom, her sister, and her aunt. And then I think it was like maybe her sister's friend, but all of them are mothers. So I decided to make like lasagna, which is like a traditional dish that is known for celebratory events. And I've only made lasagna maybe once, but it was definitely fire. It was definitely good. I was milling on it for a few days after the fact, and had some wine. We had a little white, had a little red, and I just wanted to celebrate them and let them know that y'all are important, and black mothers, black women, y'all have a task of your own that is exceptional. And I just wanted to honor, you know what I mean? If it's just something as small as this, get you some lasagna and wine. And we did some karaoke, you know, so we having fun, we laughing, everybody singing along, helping each other out. And so it was a good time. And then the kids, you know, the little ones, they were able to get in rare form because they're all kind of by themselves, you know, so when they get together, it's cool. So it was a beautiful time. I enjoyed it, and I just enjoyed not only just celebrating moms, but being able to have another excuse to have a kickback. You know what I mean? Like as many kickbacks as possible. You can't be all work no play out here. that's a fact. So, but shout out to the moms. We are still in our Mother May I month, and speaking of moms, we do have a comment from our last episode. I know we didn't record last week, but the week before on our Losing Isaiah review, actually, it's not from a mom. Sorry. It's from our guy, actually, Public Enemy B. He says, I don't know why, but she just got out of the pokey, had me crying. So that is a Mia G statement. I wish I could have seen his reaction, because like, you know how stuff ain't meant to be that funny and you just rolling. Like I know what he mean, because I still harken back to when we did and Mia was talking and getting into like talking about and then it was just, she said the simplest thing, but I was crying laughing. She's like, so okay, so we're gonna go through this whole thing. So first off, relax. And I was like, he is so far from relaxing. It's crazy. So that I know what he means. So yeah. Hey, shout out to you, Mia, for the funny comment. Got him crying over here laughing at the just got out the pokey.
It was a wild situation.
Yeah, man. But that is all of our comments from the Stoop Kids. Y'all can always reach out to us on YouTube, leave a comment, rate, subscribe, like, share with a friend to enjoy this nostalgia. We're going to continue to keep hammering down on that. Also reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, and follow us on Instagram, childishgrownups_podcast. So I'm gonna throw the ball in your court first, Ash. Childish grown up moment. We had a lot of time off. It feels like a lot of time off, at least. Definitely a lot of time from the last time Dave listened and we've recorded. So hopefully we've all accumulated some kind of childish grown up moment. So Ash, what you got for us?
Yeah, so I few. My first one is the one I wrote down immediately. It's simple. It was about 11 o'clock. Me and Babe, we were up. We were starting to get hungry. And so I was like, you want a sandwich? You know, so I made us a couple sandwiches. And I had put chips on my sandwich. I was like, you know what? Because I'm a sandwich chip eater, right? But I was like, I think I want this crunch on my sandwich. Like, and so I definitely was big backing it that night.
Hey, hold on.
And first off, I put some chips on the sandwich.
What kind of sandwich and what chips?
So it was a turkey sandwich, and I put Doritos on it.
Okay. You still got to say, you got to have one of, you got to have one of the, you know, normally it's bologna, but at least okay. All right. I dig that. Yeah.
Turkey for me all day with mustard. I'm a mustard girl.
Mustard.
Yeah. Whoa, hold it down.
I did that. That was for me right there. That was for me right there. That's our other co-host, you know, on the other side.
The one and only. Look.
the one, the only.
I took Anthony to school one day, and I raced him to the door. Like we was just walking normally, and I'm like, "You want to race?" We just started racing. I got him too. Let's be clear.
Oh no! Yeah, we can't take no L. We ain't gonna do that.
No, but he be right there though. Like Anthony is super fast, but I was like, hey, you know how he is.
No, he's not.
I got him though.
Quick.
You know what I mean?
He's quick. Like he's quick. There's a difference between fast and quick. He's quick. Like yeah, that's my nephew.
Call me be more like a glide, like.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, we had the opportunity to have a kid-free night. So we was just in here like watching music videos, and dancing. Like we was doing a Tootsie Roll, all type of. We was just getting hyped. We had a good night Saturday night, and Tyler can't dance for anything, so just watching him dance is hilarious.
Oh man!
But yeah, we was into it. It was a good time. So
Yo, in my mind, it would throw me if he actually was like could kill it for real. Like,
I don't know, like that non-looking dancer, but
yeah,
really
yeah,
cold.
exactly. Like that's why I was like hoping, like, okay, he might low key, like we call him old, but like he could low key get that Dougie off real quick.
Right. That would be tough. Look, that was the Dougie. I was like, "Can you do the Dougie?" He was like, "Nah."
What can he do? Is there anything he could do? All right, that's like decent.
I mean, he do a strong, just a two-step. You know.
He's a two stepper. Like I
Yeah,
knew that. I knew he
yeah,
mastered that. Like, all right, man. Shout out to my
I don't know
brother-in-law,
what he
man.
can do.
Okay.
He probably can do the jerk or something, maybe.
The jerk. Wow. He saw the Tootsie Roll. That wasn't what was he didn't hit
Yeah,
attempt.
he can do that. He was doing
Okay, cool. All right. All right, fair enough, man. Shout out my brother T.
it.
Hey, sounds like some great childish grown up
You're
movie.
no dancing,
Oh man, listen.
No dancing.
Hey, listen.
no dancing.
Our big cousins, if y'all listening, y'all need to hurry up and do that movie because that movie, I don't know if it's going. We ain't gonna get to it before the year's out. So y'all need to go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? But Mia G, what about you? You got a childish grown up moment for us?
I do. I have two. So first, and they're not like they're super small. They're not as good as Ash's, but my daughter had a ballet recital on Saturday. uh and I don't know if because Ash, you have a son. I know you have a daughter, Mo, but I don't know like if she ever did like dance or anything, or if you've ever been to a
She did
little
ballet. Which we never got to the recital step of it. We was out before that, and then she's also done like class programs where they danced and performed and all that. Yeah.
But ballet recitals are one of the funniest things ever when it comes to like little kids. Because my daughter, she's at the point where like her portion of the recital is really cute. Like they kind of take it a little more seriously. Like they're not as playful, but you have the little kids mixed in there. So
Oh.
there's some like 2, 3-year-olds who go to the same academy and they have to do their little portion of the recital. When I say I was crying laughing, like me and her dad, like crying laughing because the little kids just get up there and jump around and do their own little thing. And it's just some of the funniest. Like, and we were in the front row. And so
Oh.
we're trying really hard not to laugh at these kids, but it
Oh.
can't help it. So you just like covering your mouth the whole time, just crying, literally. But it's one of my favorite things. I love it. I love every year seeing
Yes.
how much
Yes.
my daughter has grown and then seeing the tiny tots do their little
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't that something? It's such a sidebar. What you're saying? It's something about that just feels really good. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know if it takes you back to your times, but it's something about that. Just seeing that innocence and seeing like this is all they care about right now. We got all the things in our mind, but right now all they care about is I got to perform in front of these people and I got to remember what I was taught. Like it's something about it. So yeah, yeah, that's dope.
and they love it.
Something
They're more
about you.
concerned about their tutus and their cute little outfits. And they ain't worried about them steps for real, but it's just so cute. What were you saying, Ash?
I was singing
Oh.
something about you.
And then, so I don't know if this is childish or if this is just me being in my auntie era right now, but so anytime I'm like home by myself, or if it's just like me and my son, because he don't be paying me no attention, I'll like put on line dance tutorial videos and be in my kitchen like learning line dances and like line dancing by myself. And I'll just keep doing it over and over until I figure it out. And then I'd be super excited. I'll just be in, in the kitchen. So I think it was like a couple days ago, my daughter had to go get fitted for a flower girl dress for a wedding she's gonna be in. And so it was just me and myself. I was like, okay, it's time to put on my line dances out in the kitchen. And I learned 2 new line dances. I was super proud of myself.
So what is a line dance exactly? Like, is it? It's not like
I never seen nobody do the electric slide.
okay, that line. Okay, I didn't know because in my mind when I hear line dance, I hear like these boots are meant for walking type. Like I mean,
Not for now.
so okay, so there's
They
still
have their line dances. We have our line dances.
oh okay. So there's still new ones happening right now.
You ain't heard boots on the ground.
What them fans?
That's one of the ones I learned, Ash. I learned my boots on the ground, and I learned the dangerous one where, it's that one little girl's getting paid $6,000 a pop to go do it on somebody's hayride. But
Oh wow.
I just gotta stay up because I never want to be at anybody's wedding reception or function and like the song comes on and I'm standing off to the side and I don't know how to do the dance. So I
What?
always gotta stay ready.
But wasn't that the thing though? Like before we pre-internet, where we like you kind of pick up the you know what I mean you kind of pick up the pieces where you look and be like, okay, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like Alvin Johnson, you know what I'm saying? You go chop chop, ooh, like you know what I'm saying? Like that was like the thing. I know we're in different times, but
We're in the internet age now, sir. I don't
hey,
have time for
hey,
that. These events are far and few between. I gotta be ready to go.
because you never know when me and
Definitely a
G gonna have
childish
to.
grown up moment.
Yeah, because me and G, because we already know me and G get to it. We heard a few episodes ago where she was definitely hitting the chicken head, like almost took her shoulders out on that joint. I wish she would have posted it for real. Hey, Mama C, next time you get her to dance, please post it. Oh man, okay, but that's wonderful. I feel that. I feel that. See, I'm at the stage now where like I don't really like to dance anymore because I don't look cool doing it no more. And now I realize, like, as quickly she points out, I look, and I like, bro, no, I used to like rip it for real. Like, there was the cheesy era, and then I finally got coordinated and did it, but now it's like, so I just be like, I'd be like more so like I know how to do it, but I'd be like posted up, like, so, cause it's like, I don't look cool anymore. So I can't do it no more.
Who
Huh?
said that?
Huh?
Who said that?
My wife
Who said that?
said what?
But anybody else?
I mean, that's my gauge. Like pretty much, like women got taste. Women know what time it is. Like it's like if she's not pleased, I'm not taking no risk with no strangers. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. There's
But
some
it's
stuff I
just it's
will. I don't know.
but you just having fun.
I ain't
You
getting,
don't
but
have to look cool.
I ain't really dancing to have fun though. I'm dancing to, like kill it for real. Like I'm like yo, I'm getting busy with you. I'm Millie rocking and all that. You know what I mean? But anyway, anyway, my child has grown up. I got a couple of moments. So we was at the grocery store, and we shopping, and we get to the beverage aisle. Of course, got to get your 24, get your 48 pack of water or whatever. And over there, not only do they have those waters, but they got seltzer waters, and then they happen to have flavored waters. And flavored waters was such a staple. I said, bruh, like hey, I can't tell you. I'm definitely becoming old because when you stop and start lecturing your kids about like how it used to be, or like you're like you don't understand. Like when you do that, that's when you know you're old. I'm sitting there talking to my daughter like, oh, you don't understand. Like Ash, you remember when we moved to Kentucky and we lived with grandma, and they would give us like all the loose change. Like if we
Hmm.
clean up the house or clean the living room, well, we can find loose change. And this is when things were cheap. Like you could get a flavored water for 50 cents. And so we get all of the snacks, little 10-cent sugar babies, Chico sticks, all that. And you gotta have a flavor water. Like you put your 50 cent away to 2 quarters for that, because that flavor water is making it back to the crib. So when I seen it, it took me back immediately. Like, bro, I loved flavor water, bro. Like anyway, so yeah, so that was my one, and then my other was our daughter was playing on the laptop, playing like a little game online or whatever, and she got frustrated. She gets frustrated sometimes, but she got specifically frustrated because for whatever reason, because it said game over, And the thought and it hit me, triggered me like the game over. Like I said, bro, do you remember like how frustrating when you get a game over it is like it is, and you don't get no continues, like that's it. Like, bruh, how hot you be. Like, normally they give you to continue, like, okay, cool, try again. When they don't give you that, it's over and they hit you the dun, 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 dun. It's like, bro, hot. So when I seen that, I said, bruh, I said, boy, I'm so reformed. Because listen, the game over used to get me for real pissed. So, hey,
And Tekken used to take me out with that game.
did you see the post? I don't know if you ever see what I be posting. I be resharing from all the nostalgia pages, but you remember from Tekken Eddie?
Mm-hmm.
He was the did he have the like lock?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Jamaican dude.
And he used to
So,
do like the
oh yeah.
yeah.
So they the post was how many friendships ended after somebody picked this character, bruh. You know what I'm talking about, Ash?
Yeah.
Okay, because I about
Who
to
was
say if
that
you
dude?
Eddie, like he was doing the little dance and he's sweeping his
Mm-hmm.
bro. And when people knew what they was doing, they keep you in the air. You never like get a chance to recover. I said, bro, they nailed it because I swear to you, it's like, no, you we were fighting, but like, no, you can't pick Eddie. Like you can't pick Eddie. Like that's just what it is. Or okay, I'm picking Eddie too. No, you can't pick Eddie too. Like, yeah, no, because we ain't doing none of that because his moves is way easier and more fluid. So but yeah, it's just that game over. It was definitely nostalgic for me, man. Uh, so, uh,
Also,
yes,
my kids drink flavored water to this day. Like I
yeah.
have to buy them a pack of flavored water, the splash flavored water every time. Like
You
like
talking
they
about the
come
like
in
the
like a
open up the packs and pour it in the water?
no,
Oh,
it's a brand of flavored water called Splash.
oh, okay, okay.
They come in a six pack, and I have to buy like we have to keep them in the house.
Both of them
That's
like it. Wow, you drink it?
Sometimes, I'm a OG, so regular water is
Yeah,
my.
of course. Yeah, we at that
I'll
stage.
if I want a little flavor, I'll sip on some flavor water.
I've definitely got into my seltzer bag here. It's not tasty, but it has helped me make some adjustments in my life. So I'm definitely doing like some seltzers, some spike seltzers, kind
Like
of
mineral water.
yeah, a little Saratoga. So yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Ash,
yes, indeed. It is time for the Flash with Ash. So I got two trivia questions for y'all, and then two this or that. So keeping it simple for you. First question is from Rocket Power.
oh,
Which of the following is not the name of one of the skateboarding friends? Oswald Otto Rocket, Maurice Twister Rodriguez, Kristen Platinum Jagard, Sam Squid Dillard.
I know this one.
I
Which
got it.
one is
I
not?
think I know.
Okay.
I'm going platinum.
That's what I was gonna say. Because I don't remember anybody.
Ain't no platinum because I can even remember the faces of
I
them.
remember Otto for sure.
I know
Remember what was the second one you said?
Twister.
Twister. I remember Twister.
Twister. Yeah, the backwards hat. Squid
I
was the
remember
blonde. He was the blonde dude that really was like the weakest one. Kind of like almost like the Chucky character to the Rocket Power, like with the glasses. That was Squid, but I definitely know ain't nobody platinum. Like
I don't remember
they're
that.
missing Reggie. That's who they're missing.
That's correct. You are correct.
And
I didn't know if
definitely
y'all would know that or not. I was like,
if you go too deep on Rocket Power, I won't know. But like we're doing that type of thing, I still got some embedded surface information.
yeah. And Twister, Maurice is his name, so I know you
Yeah, I remember that, and
remember
I
that
liked
one.
him the best too.
Right. Okay. Second one is from Martin. What was Gina's boss name? Mr. Palmer, Mr. Whitcomb, Mr. Williams, or Mr. Whitaker?
Mr. Whitaker. I'm
Uh,
almost positive it was Mr. Whitaker.
I guess I'm a join the bandwagon on that one because I'm not sure, but it's definitely one of the you know.
That's correct.
Oh,
Mr.
thank you,
Whitaker.
thank you, Mia. Thank you.
Hey, lean on your partner. I know that's right.
Hey man, listen, that's why we a team. You know what I'm
We'll be able to phone a friend.
saying? For real
Okay.
though.
Just a quick this or that shoe edition. Just quick.
Hmm.
Converse or Chucks?
I'm going Converse, and I don't like either one of these. But
Mm-hmm.
Chucks, my feet are not narrow enough for Chucks. I never thought I had some like I had the Route 21 versions of them, the carbons of the Chucks. They wasn't real Chucks, but it was a wave, a little hipster. Chucks just look too narrow for me. I don't know. I really don't even know if they're really a black male shoe, to be honest. Like I don't we're not really built for that type of occasion. I feel like uh well, at least for the high tops. The low tops, shout out to Smokey. So I'm going Converse.
Okay.
Aren't Chucks a like in like aren't they
Yeah, part
com
of. Yeah, they're like a part of Converse.
now I'm not going to hold you. I've never worn any of these. I think I had a pair of Converse but Mama ain't no gym shoe girl, but I guess I would have to say Converse because that's the only thing like the like not high top, but like the midway
Mm-hmm.
was the only ones I ever had. So I don't really have anything to compare them to.
Okay.
I got a question on top of that, me. I want to ask you as far as following up on that. But Ash, what say you?
Converse as well. Um, Not a fan of them either, but I was just getting into that nostalgic bag of the old sneaks. I think the Converses look better. The low tops, yeah, the Chucks look kind of crazy.
Mm,
So yeah, I go Converse.
okay. Mia G, I know you say you want a sneaker person, but is there any sneaker that you really be like, I ain't a sneaker person, but I definitely will rock these?
So the thing is, like, I have a lot of sneakers, which is crazy because I'm not a huge sneaker person, but I have a bunch. Um, I was really into like designer shoes for a little minute, and I have a pair that I wear a lot, and like these Gucci sneakers, and they have like the emblem print, but then they have like a pink and blue. And I like those. So I wear those probably the most because I like the way they fit. But I will say I do like New Balance too. So
Oh
the
yeah,
way
yeah, yeah.
are like, so if I had to choose, I would say I'd probably like more likely some New Balance, some sort of designer sneaker, or I got some Jordan. I got a lot of pairs of Jordans, but I don't know. I'm
Why
just not,
why do you have all these sneakers?
I'm just I thought I could get into gym shoes for a minute. And then, having matching shoes to like my kids but it's just not like I'm not like a if I had to choose,
Like an
I'd rather
enthusiast.
have some heels, some cute boots, have these feet out with some sandals. But
Feel that? Okay. All right. Yeah.
The last one was Fila's or Reeboks. I don't know if you've seen the Fila's, Mia. Do you
I
remember those?
they look like
Let's see
We
if we can
call it
put a
feelers, but
picture.
definitely
Eli,
felines. You know what I mean?
Feli's. Fila's.
Felines. We only call it feelers because of Ti.
Better use your feelers.
You better use your feelers. That's the only reason we start calling them feelers because of
Hold on,
Ti.
I need reference pictures. I gotta look.
But we gotta get the right picture though. It gotta be
I mean,
those.
feelers. Feelers are a classic. Feelers are definitely affordable for a single mom. You know what I mean? Growing up, like definitely the Feelers. But
These
if
pictures
in
are
my
not great.
mind, to be more specific, I'm going with like the OG Feelers, you know, versus like in my mind Reebok classics. That's kind of where I go. Like if we're just talking shoes,
Yeah.
I know so many of both of their sneakography, if that's a word. Uh,
I see a cute pair of chunky Filas.
You like those. I know what you're talking about.
the feel like, hey, listen, there was a post dude said like chicks like back in the middle school that if they had a particular set of felines, you knew they was going. They said they got the felines and they got the baby fat puffy coat. I said,
Minute.
yo, dude nailed it because I said I remember at least three.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hey,
Oh,
them coats.
don't
They
tell me you had the
was.
combination, B. Don't tell me you had a
I
cup.
never I never owned the Filas, but I feel like the ones I'm looking at are the ones he's talking about, the ones that I said were cute. But I definitely had a baby fat
The
uh
puffy, the little
with
puffy
the
short.
fur
Yeah,
around
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
with the little don't come
Wait,
for
but
me.
you didn't have a
'Cause I
pairing, so
was
you didn't have a pairing. If you had the pairing, then then we might have to have a, a slight little interview slash investigation, But since you didn't have a pairing, hey, I'm a lady. I'm a lady.
I had my baby fat coat with my little boots with the fur.
Yeah, would you stop?
Ooh, Lord.
Oh man, but definitely there was definitely a there. When I heard that, I said there was a particular. I still know her name. That's how funny that is. I said I know first and last. Like when he said that, I said, "Oh my god." So, long story short, I'm going Reebok because them Reebok classics. Those was our original Air Force Ones. To be honest, in our household, like the Reebok Classic was the original. We got the white Reebok Classics, the black Reebok Classics. They're not really a great shoe, but in the 2000s, it's between that and the Felines. I'm going Reebok.
I feel like if you ask little me back in the day, I would go Reebok. But what I'm seeing now, I would say Fila's.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm going Reebok as well. That classic white pair. I was always a white shoe.
Yeah, you was.
Give me an all white any day. Um, so yeah, I'm going Reebok.
Ash, you was just always smarter than your big brothers, man. Ash was so smarter than us. She wasn't watching cartoons. She was watching real life shows. And then she was smart enough to get white shoes when me and my brother was dumb enough to get colored shoes, and we didn't have nowhere near the amount of clothes to match it. Talk about a stressful situation getting ready for putting your outfit out for the next day of school. Like, bro, you got a brown pair of shoes and you got some green and yellow shoes. Yeah, our sister was just smarter than us, and she had better grades. Like, we just some dumb little boys that you finally got smart after a while. You know what I mean?
My guys, man, I love you.
Nah, no doubt. But you was on it. And you never switched up. You stayed every top of the year school shopping. You stayed with the whites. And it took us finally at some point, we finally got with the program. Yeah, let me get the whites and then get some colors. Like, yeah. So, oh man, shout out to moms, man. All right. Well, is that it, Ash? That's all you got for us this on this
Flash for
episode.
that. Yep, that's it.
All right. I dig. Mia G. You know what time it is. It's been a while, but we back in this thing. I need you to pull that lever. Take us back one time for the one time on today's film.
Ah, man. Today's film, I have to give another disclaimer. This one deals with domestic violence. However, I think even with the heavy subject matter, we'll be able to have a pretty fun discussion about it. We are going to be talking about 2002 film Enough, starring Jennifer Lopez. Synopsis: after running away fails, a terrified woman empowers herself in order to battle her abusive husband. We have Jennifer Lopez as Slim, Billy Campbell as Mitch Hiller, Tessa Allen as Gracie, Juliette Lewis as Jenny, Dan Futterman as Joe, Noah Weil as Robbie, Fred Ward as Jupiter, Christopher Mayer as Phil, Janet Carroll as Mrs. Hiller, Bill Cobbs as Jim Toller, and Bruce A. Young as an unnamed self-defense coach slash instructor. This film was released May 24th, 2002. There were no toys.
Yeah. Definitely get you some boxing gear though, for sure. All right. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna start with you, Ash, because this was your pick in our Mother May I month. Let's do a little bit of a rewind here. And then after that, we'll follow up with Mia G. So let's do a little bit of a rewind. How did you remember this film back then? And then how did it hold up in real time for you?
So I think I remember it the same. This is also a movie that me and mom watched a lot together. We weren't big J Lo fans when it came to her music, but once she started getting into the acting, we was rocking with her. You know, Selena, all that. Like I think she's a good actress. Now that only CD she came out with was that blue CD, and that
Everybody
was
know
fire.
about that.
I
Yeah,
don't know
everybody
what it
know
was
about that.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had Ja Rule on it. Like she had some hitters on that. That blue CD.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah. That was the one.
me and mom, we used to just watch it all the time. It seemed like it was always on regular TV. Like at some point, it's just playing on some channel, and I just found myself continuously watching it when I saw it, whatever channel it was on. Um, so yeah, even watching it again this time, it felt the same. I mean, this is a straight through movie. You know, ain't nothing. It's everything just straight through. So there was one part of the movie that I didn't realize until this watch. That was like, oh, okay, so that's how that happened. It was just something small, and I'll talk about it. But other than that, everything still I'm remembering the same. Um, I do have a comment on some later things, but yeah. So that's how I remember it.
All right, I'll jump in there. I will say that I remember it almost pretty like exactly like you do, Ash. Definitely a favorite for me and my mom. We watch this movie all the time together. Um, and even now, if it comes on TV, she'll text me and she's like, "Enough is on," and I'm like, "Mommy, we're in the streaming age, lady." It's on Stars. I can watch it anytime. Um, but this was definitely one of our favorites. It was one of those USA TNT type of movies where
Mhm.
it always would come on with the interruptions. But it was one that we would always watch if it was on. Me and my mama, we love a good revenge story. It is always at the top
Absolutely.
of our list. But yeah, and I think I too remember it a lot the same. I've watched it over the years, but I think I still get those same feelings really when I watch it now that I had when I would watch it back then. You still get super duper like tense when the switch flips, and then you're always super excited at the end when you see. I feel like it's um I was gonna say something, but I'm not even gonna say. I'm gonna
What
I
not?
was gonna say, like, it's the revenge movie equivalent of that last scene of 8 Mile when B Rabbit comes with the bars. It's like that when she finally gets her
Mhm.
her moment with Mitch at the end.
Her get back.
Mhm.
Yeah. For me, rewind a little bit. For me, it I remember really like what stuck with me for the longest is really the latter half of the movie. It's the I remember the training, the fighting, the get back, the whole, but it's so much in between that didn't I did not remember really like that. I like we spoke before. There was a point we were going to do this movie on a different podcast, ironically, before this was established. And I felt differently about the movie in that sense of the movie. But when we kind of readjusted the lens on this is the Mother May I, kind of looking at it from a motherhood standpoint, it kind of changed my viewpoint on watching this movie. So back then, it was enjoyable as far as I remember. It was just a thriller, like the as a young teenager or whatever. Like at this point, I'm 12. You know what I mean? So uh, I'm actually seeing it around that time, or maybe a few years later, 14 maybe, and just that was the 2000s. But like getting older, you see some things that work, some things that don't work, but you do still see like the real heart in the film of like this stuff really exists, and it's definitely a movie that could be remade today with a different type of execution for sure. Because like this is probably more realistic than anything. And I know it's crazy for y'all listening. Like, we're supposed to be honoring mothers. It's supposed to make us feel good, and we just got done dealing with teenage pregnancy. Then we got drug addict mother pregnant trying to get her son back, and now we're dealing with an abusive relationship. Like, bro, where's the happy Mother's Day movies, bro? But nah, but so yeah, watching it this time versus back then, still held up as far as the theme, the concept. So yeah. Okay, so let's get into some overall discussion. So here's an interesting thing, and I can't wait to see y'all take on this. And whoever wants to respond first, by any means. Sandra Bullock was originally casted for this role, but had to drop out because of scheduling. How do y'all think she would fare as Slim, and do y'all think she would have done better?
Wow. Wow, wow, wow,
Oh
wow.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Because like I can really see her doing this and doing a really great job. Now, I'm not going to say necessarily better because I think Jenny did her thing, but I will say I could definitely see a really good film with Sandra Bullock playing that role.
Mm, mm-mm.
I think she adds a different emotional layer, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Ash, what you think?
That was a great find, bro.
Thank you.
Sandra Bullock is my girl. Like, that's my girl. And I could see her being in this too. I could also see Hilary Swank for some reason.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like, she
that.
has that emotional pull too. Like, I could see Hilary um doing this as well.
Period
But yeah, I
music,
think
maybe.
yes. Um, but yeah, I think Sandra would have killed it too. So I wouldn't have been mad at it.
Mm. Um, I think that so Sandra Bullock did 3 movies in 2002, or at least 3 movies were released in 2002. Murder by Numbers,
Love that movie.
Divine Secrets of Yaya Sisterhood,
Love it. That
and,
was a contender.
and 2 Week Notice. So all 3 of these movies, she was cooking, and of course 2000 Miscongeniality, which I'm absolutely sure that will make it. I don't know what the category is and how we get there. Maybe dealer's choice, but I've been yearning to talk about that movie because it means so much to us. I don't know who's gonna be first, to be honest, because if the way Mia's giving it up and way Mia Ash love the movie, who knows? But it's definitely going. So don't worry, yeah, rest your little heads. But how do I think she would have did? I think she would have did slightly better. I wouldn't say like a it would be like a crazy distance, but I think that you know J Lo is not a bad actress. I don't think she's a great actress either. I think y'all said it perfectly. She's a good actress. I think she's right in there. Like she's good enough to get by. But there are certain moments that it didn't make sense, and I think it's because they do this thing in the film that they do with Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, where there's not this cultural um this
And
cultural background, yeah, ethnic background is not a part of the story, so some things are not believable, and that's a hard thing to do. And I get in 2002, it wasn't at the forefront of filmmaking. Now it's like, okay, you kind of need to, even as late as recent as a Black Mirror episode with Issa Rae, where it's this whole concept of her playing in a black and white film, but that was just a small line to say, hey, I'm a black woman playing in a 1950s film, just something like that. So with her being of Spanish descent, Puerto Rican, I believe.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that needs to be a driving point, because I know people always say, oh, when it comes to black people, they always got to bring race into it. But I do think that there needs to be some kind of remnants, because her reactions feel much more like Caucasian like. Not to say that black women don't react Caucasian like, Asian women don't react Caucasian like, or not even Caucasian like, but just everyday like. I want to put it all on like just whatever, but there's moments that it's like So yes, I could definitely see. I think Sandra Bullock would have done slightly better, but I wasn't mad at J Lo's performance. Another thing I wanted to bring as far as our discussion. So, Ash, I don't know if you're familiar, but I'm sure Mia G is, because she is a cinephile. J Lo was nominated for a Razzie Award for the worst actress for her performance, but didn't win. The Razzie Awards, aka Raspberry Awards, which is like the opposite of like Oscars.
Mhm, mhm.
So she was
I know,
nominated for this film.
I
the
know
child,
the one of the most famous Razzie Awards ever given. Catwoman, Halle Berry.
yes, yes, and she had fun with it, didn't she?
Mhm.
So, what do y'all think about that with this performance?
That's crazy to me because I really don't think it was I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it was bad at all.
Mm-mm,
Like, I
mm-mm.
am going over in my mind certain scenes and reimagining them with Sandra Bullock and seeing where there could be a little bit more, emotional nuance and a
Yeah.
little bit more depth to the performance. But I don't think she did bad as an actress. I think she did what she could with her ability and the script she was given.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't think it was a bad performance, though. She was
Mm-hmm.
believable as a mother.
Yeah. Ash, what you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad she didn't win that award. Like, the worst performance is crazy work. I think she did fine. And like you said, for the script, that what it was, I mean, she did her best. Like, I don't think it was a poor performance at all. Yeah. Again, I go back and watch this movie quite a bit. So it's like,
Mm.
if it was trash like that, I wouldn't go back so much. Um, yeah.
Yeah, they jumping out the window. I feel like they're definitely trying to stop the J Lo train here. It's ridiculous. She definitely shouldn't have been nominated for a Razzie. Because it's not a bad performance. Like, I don't look at this movie now. If I'm judging the movie overall, sure, there might be some things that I could see how I got there. But if I'm just judging her performance, no, sir, not at all. Like, I don't get that from Jennifer Lopez. Like, y'all trying to tell me that she was nominated, and I forgot who actually won the award for that, but that's crazy, because I think she was nominated before that too. Actually, she might have won a Razzie for um
The word one is crazy in this
no,
scenario.
yeah, because people win it for like worst before, like, it's um yeah, I don't know. I would have to find it, but
Ooh, I think hold on.
It was says Madonna, wasn't it? For
yeah, yeah,
Swept
yeah, yeah.
Away.
Madonna, yeah, she got it for her movie, which
And Rob Schneider for The Hot Chick.
I love that movie.
Hey, come on, we need some cheesy. Like, we definitely got to figure out how to get funny after we get to our Father's Day part. We gotta, you know what? After our Father's Day joint, I think Dilla's choice might be. Yeah, I feel like we need to. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lighten it up.
Lighten it up, definitely. um, but yeah. So, all right. Um, so here's another question I want to ask in our overall discussion. So, in y'all opinion, what is it about Jennifer Lopez that makes her so good at playing this like girl next door? You know, I know she played in a movie, you know, Girl Next Door or whatever later in her career, but
Boy next door.
yeah, but this everyday woman role, because I mean, we know her to have, play, in Anaconda, where she felt like pretty much a down home. We know her in Wedding Planner in 2001 that came before this. I mean, there's some movies that came out, Monster in Law, that Made in Manhattan. There's this everyday vibe that she carries that feels so natural. What is it that y'all think? Why do y'all think she's able to carry that, or what is it about her that makes it believable to you?
Wow. That's a good question. And
There
that does trend. Like she does, they do put her in a lot of the girl next door films. Like she just, I don't know, I think it's for personality. Like in real life, I think she's really sweet, and she always refers to herself. She'll always be Jenny from the block. Like I don't know, I think maybe just a part of her upbringing and where she grew up around. Like I feel like it's more so her, and she's just learning the character, but it's kind of like in you, not on you type thing. Like I just feel like she's genuinely a sweet person, and that kind of just tracks. And then
Mm,
she, started kicking ass in films too. So I don't know. Like I don't know. That's
mm,
a good question though.
thank you.
now, there's been some speculation around the internet that J Lo is not really that nice of a person. That she's
Really?
kind of a bitch.
Mm,
Um, but I think she, I think one, her ambiguity kind of helps her in that way. She can shapeshift. She's really good at like molding herself into a role, and because a lot of those roles are like, girl next door, but they're all different.
mhm,
Mary Fiore, the wedding planner, was Italian immigrant, like daughter of immigrants, and she did play Puerto Rican in Made in Manhattan. Um, she's got like this really moldable personality, kind of like Dina uh from Dreamgirls. Like she has personality for sure. Like you can see, like she's bubbly. She comes off as bubbly, but it's not such a strong personality where it's going to overtake, you know, a role. She's kind of like a, and this, I don't want this to sound like,
Flexible.
I don't mean this in a bad way, but she's kind of like the drop-in person. Like if you have a role for a Sandra Bullock and she's unavailable, we can, like Jennifer Lopez, we can mold her into this. Or if you have a role for, a Jennifer Lawrence and she's unavailable, you can mold J Lo into that. She just has like a moldable personality.
do you think? How do y'all think she would have done? I'm not saying I don't think this is on the table, but how do y'all think she would have done if Miss Congeniality was built around her?
No,
No.
See, I feel differently. I feel like she could have did it.
no,
I
no.
because I feel like so that came out 2 years prior to this movie. I feel like Miss Congeniality, like now the tricky part will be like, how do you make her unattractive? That to me, that's probably the most tricky part because Miss Congeniality, it wasn't really this deep depth of a emotional character to me. Like it was really
It
a
worked. But but Sandra Bullock has that snorty, goofy comic thing that she can do. Like she,
You don't feel like she did that in Monster in Law though, J Lo?
no.
When she was getting her get back, you don't feel like that?
Did she like there was never a point in my like in Monster Law, she was still the pretty girl next door. She was still very like
She never
It
played
wasn't
ugly.
any
cute.
awkwardness.
She never had an awkward, snorty, I'm falling over in my heels moment. Like Sandra Bullock played that, you know, like hunched over or like I can't laugh without snorting. I'm
Yeah,
not necessarily a girly girl role.
yeah, yeah.
Sandra's
I
different.
cannot see J Lo playing like the goofy detective where like she's been funny. She can do funny, but not goofy. There's a difference.
But I don't think that movie necessarily needed Goofy because it wasn't funny to me. It just made me understand the
Really?
transition. Nah, it wasn't funny to me. Nah, I never looked at that movie and like laughed.
Sandra made it funny.
I never looked, but it wasn't funny to me. It was interesting, but it never was funny to me. Like I like again, that's particular humor. Like it was, but I get what she was trying. But I get what she was trying to, get across. Like there is particular people that is funny too, but it wasn't funny to me. But I don't think it even necessarily required a Goofy. It just required like you got to be a bugger wolf and go from a bugger wolf to, you know, who's that girl? What's her queen? She is, you need to go from one in a million like type deal. But I feel where y'all coming from. I think J Lo could have done it. I think low key, I think she would have done better in that type of film than this type of film. But you know, because I don't think that film didn't require the level of depth to me in comparison to this. But I think for J Lo's experience and what she accomplished, and she's been in quite a few films, I think she got it across here. But for me, as far as what gives it the everyday feel, I think that just being a minority, I think starting off on, in Living Color, being, a dancer, I think just her experience being around, a colorful bunch of people, all through her life. I think just that everyday vibe. That's why sometimes it's hard for me with her as well as The Rock and Rose, where they just create this kind of colorless character. It bothers me, it really does. But I will say J Lo is a lot more believable when we do the colorless. When she goes for the colorless, like we're not gonna establish where you from, where he from, versus Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, or whatever. Like when he does, it's like, bro, if I don't know, maybe it's a man thing. I don't know what it is, but when he does it, I just don't. Yeah, I just don't like it. Like go Hawaiian or go black or go biracial, but don't go. We're supposed to believe you're a white dude. Like you know what I mean? That your kid is like fully white, no tan, no color, no shading. Um, anyway, real quick, before we get into like our moments, and we're about to kind of get into our character. I got one more question, but Mia, did you go to have you seen the new Final Destination?
Not yet. I'm going to see it Friday, probably.
Okay. You're going, yeah, Ash.
I saw it.
On
Don't
Fire Stick.
see anything.
Wait a minute. What makes you even watch this?
I told you I was gonna watch it because we grew up watching them. I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to
of
watch.
course, of course. Like, but like after three, it kind of tails off. Like, what made you?
Well,
I,
I mean, they brought it back, so I wanted to see if it was gonna give me that feel
what,
like back in the day,
so what you think?
and it didn't. No.
It's a CGI, ain't it?
Excuse
Well, Mia's gonna see it, so I don't want to, you know.
Well, look, listen. I'll say this, and we'll move on. There's a guy that I work with. He's like 26, young boy. Like he definitely looked at me like Unc, and he sent me like he found a clip where they sent all of the death scenes, and I'm not gonna tell all the death scenes. The concepts are there, but the CGI is what affects how great it could. Because like when you watch that first movie, dude dying in the shower, like you see his eyes turn red, like oh this is real. You see a second movie, third movie, like, and I watched the list where they talk about the top 10 deaths from Final Destination. It came out a few years ago, and I was like, oh no, these was like some real moments. But like what he sent me, I said the CGI hurt it. That's all I'll say. I'm not gonna say that the concepts are not there because there's gonna be some stuff that make you think like, yo, like be careful. Like that, if you can make people walk away and be like, hey, let me just be careful, let me not get in a tanning booth, you know what I mean? Then your job is done. But there's one scene that even though the CGI is there, it definitely makes you think about something. I'll leave it there. Ash, you know what I'm talking about. But CGI like that to me, I mean they're doing another one after this now. But the CGI, it's like I don't know if they're doing it because they don't want people to buy into it so much that they think you're gonna die like this. Because it feels cartoony. Like
this after this many years, if we thought we was gonna die, we been thought that like this is like the seventh film.
mm-hmm. I tell you what, Mig G, when do you plan to watch it? Are you going to theater? You
Friday.
going?
I definitely plan on seeing it in theaters, probably Friday, because I'm off work.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, when we do our next episode, our TGIF, if I don't remember, put it in your notes somewhere, please, because I will forget. I'd like to see your take, and then Ash can kind of reveal a little bit more of her feelings towards it. I'm not going to watch it, but I got the gist of what I needed, and so I would love to hear where you're coming from, as well as Ash's opinion. So I know there was a sidebar.
One of my favorite film series.
You like this better than Saw?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Okay. I got more follow ups, but I'll save that.
Okay.
I got more follow ups. I'm an inquisitive person. Lastly, in our overall discussion, how do y'all feel about the note cards in the movie? They use the note cards as transitional
the
pieces.
transitional pieces.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think we needed them because I halfway didn't pay attention to them. Like, I would forget about them as soon as they flashed off the screen. I completely forgot what any of them said. So I don't think it was necessary. I don't know why they made that choice, but
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't needed, but I mean, when you do that, it kind of seems like you're already trying to speed the movie up sometimes. Now, where it was done so well, loving basketball with the four quarters.
Okay, facts.
But this is kind of like
we definitely didn't need it. Like I feel like they're trying to create these time jumps, but I don't know. Like I get it from the initial, from the restaurant to what happens after, but everything else after that is like it I don't know. I don't. I called it note cards, but I'm sorry. It's the proper term I think is title screen or something like that. Title cards or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't like it. That is where I had an issue when I was going to do a review in a previous time. Cause like this is like why y'all doing this? Like this movie's not that deep, and we can pick up the pieces. Like,
I don't
but
know.
anyway,
It just was such a throwaway thing to me that I never really paid it any attention. Like I didn't hate it, but it would literally etch a sketch from my mind as soon as the card was gone. I forgot that
definitely shook the joint up, and like it's over with. All right, fair
I
enough.
don't even remember the names of it. What was it?
Now,
How we met?
remember one.
Yeah, how we met. I don't know who. Who cares? Like
I literally only remember one, and that's only because you said something. I would have never.
That's it. Like but it's still like if you're watching this and you gotta see. That's the thing about podcasting. Like it resonates different when you got a pod. If you're just watching this in the theater, like you overlook all that, And I imagine in theaters in real time, this movie is fire. You know what I mean? Like because you're on the journey. But when you got to watch it, and we're like 20 years after the fact, 20 years plus, it's a little different. So Now getting into our moment, getting into our characters, getting to like the analysis, the meat and potatoes of this movie. Enough. It came out in 2002. Ash, what characters do you got paired and plots that you got set up in your notes?
So I have Slim, Mitch, Joe, Jenny, and Gracie. And then I have like that initial, the end game, pretty much the setup,
Mm-hmm.
the training, and yeah.
Mig G.
Similar, I have Slim, Mitch, Jenny, Mrs. Hiller or Mitch's mom. I have Slim on the Run slash Jupiter. I have Joe and I have Slim fighting back.
Okay, so that definitely be our last scene. I got Slim, I got Mitch, I got Slim and Mitch, I got Slim and Jenny, and that's it. Because sometimes some characters for me, it's like your story is so connected to the next person, I just pair you two together. Because it's a lot of that built into it. So, where do y'all want to start? Do y'all feel like Slim is the place to start? Do y'all feel like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out how do we gauge this? Where do we go? Where do we?
Yeah, the way it jumps into the story, I think it would be safe to start. I don't even necessarily know if I need to discuss Slim with like as a standalone. Like I feel like her relationships with all the other characters kind of drive
Yeah, it
this.
drives our character.
I would say maybe Slim and Jenny.
Slim and Jenny. Okay. Um, do we go further in the film with that Slim and Jenny, or we just do the front?
I can talk about I have some things I could talk about the front end of the film with Slim and Jenny.
Ash, what do you feel?
Yeah, that works.
Okay,
Me
so
can
let
start us off.
okay. So Mia, start us there with Slim and Jenny, and then Ash, you follow up with what you got as far as it goes.
So I feel like as soon as I saw it, I kind of instantly knew I would like Slim as a character, but I really love Jenny's character. And you get this instant feel for their relationship. They're best friends. You see them maneuvering around each other very fluidly. You see them joking with each other in a like the whole diner you can see is kind of like family, like from you know um Phil, the owner of the diner, who was kind of like Slim's father figure, and Jenny, kind of like a sister. And it's Jenny who first encourages her to go talk to Robbie, who is, Mitch's friend, who's there playing at this whole little game, which we don't find out about until later. And she's the one kind of encouraged because you can tell Slim is kind of maybe stoic character in a way. She doesn't seem like Jenny is kind of her lighthearted side. You can tell Slim is a little more serious, a little bit more maybe introverted. We don't get a whole lot of background on who she is, but what you take from the beginning is kind of maybe she's not a lot of fun. She doesn't like go out much. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She doesn't even tell people her real name. She literally like Jenny has to push her to, go out and, you know, talk to this guy who has come to the diner to see her. And, that kind of sets the tone for how they are together. And you just see her, Jenny, kind of being Slim's backbone in a sense throughout the film. She's like her rock. Anytime she needs something and she literally has no one else to turn to, she has no one else to call, she has nowhere else to go, Jenny's the one who's coming through for her.
Yeah. Um, I mean, you hit it on the nose there, Mia G. Yeah, it was like Slim was maybe she kissed a lot of toads. She definitely wasn't giving off like a warm demeanor, like every guy's wants the same thing, and so she definitely didn't seem open or even looking for love or even entertainment. And like you said, you can tell that Jenny and her have been friends probably since the Sandbox. Seemed like Jenny was more outspoken, uh, very bold, um, and well, no, that's a little further down. But yeah, so Jenny didn't sugarcoat anything. They had their language, piece of cake, piece of pie. I thought that was cute. That's kind of how they say goodbye and all that. That's so dope.
Hmm.
I got to think of something one day, maybe my best friend. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much covered most of it. Like I said, Slim by herself. We didn't really gather a lot of information as to who she is. And remember, this is pre-baby and all that, so it's like we just know she worked at the diner. Like you said, you got Phil, the OG, in there. So it's Phil, Slim, and Jenny. They in there, running it up. Um, Not really sure what her interests are at this point. So kind of yeah, like just really highlighted Jenny and Slim's friendship. Jenny was humorous. Like I said, she was funny. Seemed like she didn't take life so serious. Just like, just give them a shot, like. So, yeah.
Yeah, dope friendship for sure. Like, even the reception, I mean, that whole gauge with Jenny and her ex, which comes back in later in the film. I do want to ask a question. I would love to hear the woman perspective. When y'all look at them two, Jenny and Slim, do y'all think that Jenny is there was this moment in the diner in the early film where earlier in the film where she's like they're making a joke about Slim being attractive or not type deal.
Mhm.
But do you think that Jenny looks at Slim like you're the not to say that Jenny's not attractive, but do you think that she looks at her like, oh, you're the really attractive one in our you're the pretty girl in our group and I'm pretty too, but I'm like the number two? Or do you think it's the other way around where Jenny looks at herself like I am like kind of like the top tier, pretty one in our group, but you're also pretty too. Because I know this is not necessarily it don't drive anything as far as plot, but it's something that's interesting to me because as much as I wouldn't want to admit it, this stuff still exists even with guys, like in our group, where there's one dude in the group that's like, okay, he's that dude, and then after that you start seeing the tiers of like, okay, you understand that. So I just want to get y'all gauge on which I think she thought.
What we think Jenny thought?
Yeah, like did Jenny think she was like the?
Huh? I didn't really get that gauge with their friendship. Like,
Me neither.
I can't really answer because I didn't see that dynamic come off in the slightest way. Usually there's like a hint of something like, oh, she might say something kind of, you know, to make you be like, she low key, jealous or, but I don't know. I think Jenny is Jenny and Slim is Slim. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm with Ash. Like, I never got a vibe that they ever even, either of them had a worry about their looks at all. Like, I don't think that it was something that came up. We know, I think Jenny kind of looked at herself as like a big sister role to Slim. Because we see, Jenny has kids. She has two kids. She's a single mom. She's probably not even necessarily worried about like,
I did not pick that up. I didn't know she had kids. That's
yeah,
new
her
to me.
kids are in the film and she talks about them. And yeah, so she's kind of like, you know, you can tell she probably is a little bit more outgoing than Slim, but I don't think it ever crossed that like I can like that she thinks Slim is attractive, but I don't necessarily think that it crossed my mind that she would think Slim is more or less attractive than she is. I think it's just like she's confident in who she is and she knows that her friend is pretty. Like when she made the joke, "Oh, come on, Slim, no one's ever gonna go for you for your looks," and they laugh it off because they know it's like it's a
It's
joke.
cap.
Yeah, like they know it's funny, and she jokes back like, "Oh, that sucks because my personality bites," and
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. Okay, fair
you get
enough.
a sense that because yeah, while in some instances, certain friendships you get like that. Oh, I think I'm a pretty one, or I know my friend. But a lot of the times, especially at a certain age or at a certain point in life, it's not a thought that comes up all that all that
Well,
often.
here's the only reason I bring it up because it's not on no hating tip. Like because I mean I got a small circle of brothers that we been close since college, and I understand the pecking order of like, okay, he's that dude. You understand where you line up, but it's not a, oh, I feel some type of way because of this, or I'm trying to say, what I mean? Like, it's not that type of thing. It was just one of the things. But I will say, bringing it back to the film, do y'all think that Jenny, there was a little bit of living vicariously through you, because now y'all brought up like the kid element? So do you think in some sense there's this like vicariously,
I
or
think
it's
she
just whatever?
I think she just wanted Slim to loosen up, like try to,
Yeah.
you know, I think she knows that Slim is a good person, a good woman, and want her to be with someone deserving of her. So I think she's just like, not every guy is the same, Again, like big sister vibes. Like, girl, just give him a shot. Like, see what he's about. I just felt like, yeah, that's what I felt.
Mm.
I would agree 100%. I think it was more she just felt like, you know, you haven't dated anybody in a long time, go have some fun. Like, come on, get out of your shell a little bit. Let's
Yeah. Jenny gives me the vibe that she's younger, but she's more experienced. So she speaks like a big sister. That's the way
Yeah,
I interpret it, kind of like, because that's kind of what happens. Like, if you got two kids or you're a little bit more experienced, you know that you might be a few months younger or maybe a year younger, but you're speaking. Because I got a cousin like that like he's older than me by a few months, but like the dynamic has always been like I'm the older one. Like it just comes off like that because of the experience or whatever. But um so even in that diner scene, I know we can kind of tie in a little bit of more of a slim plot, as well as Slim and Mitch.
Mhm.
Uh, what Ash? I'll start with you. What do you want to say with that? Because I know we kind of bounce around between plots and scenes. What do you want to say about that? Like whole. We already know the twist. If y'all haven't seen the movie and we're talking about it, I mean, spoiler alert. But what do you feel about, what I mean? Like this movie came out like over 20 years ago, but what do you feel about the Slim and Mitch part of this story before because I feel like we can get into like Slim individual plots, but we
yeah,
can definitely tie into Slim and Mitch.
for sure. Are we still talking about their initial meetup and
I
the
would, I mean, because
house?
it all ties into, because we're still kind of like Slim and
Okay,
Jenny, so it's like, okay, we can kind of tie this
mm,
scene on a bow, and then we can move into them two more so.
okay. Um, it really wasn't much there. Like she was vibing with Robbie, right? He was coming off. It seemed like he might be a decent dude. Then Mitch comes out of there and pretty much says the jig is up with his own plan, right? To even get to her. But it's like, so I mean, she's appreciative that he's telling her about the bet and everything. And then right after that, aren't we like at the wedding? You see what I'm
Yeah, we
saying?
get
It's
a
like
time jump. Yeah.
we're not even getting like, do you have anything in common? Like, it's nothing there.
Don't
But
worry,
again,
it's in the later part of my notes.
I know that's why I'm like I'm trying to tread lightly, but it's kind of like that's the that's really the whole thing in this film. Is just not enough time in the development phase of certain relationships.
And
So
maybe
it's kind of
that's
like,
maybe that's the point they're trying to drive.
yeah, that
That's
could be a moral of the story.
it could be the possibility. Like we time jump because that's exactly how the relationship was. That's a possibility. I didn't think about that till you just said it. Now I'm thinking about it. It could be like, hey, we did that intentionally because the way y'all see it is the way it was. Who knows?
Well, yeah. So to kind of answer your question, as far as like that initial diner scene, I mean, we don't know anything about Mitch at this point, other
Mm-hmm.
than him like coming off to try to be like this good guy, trying to protect this good girl from getting played, right? Now I can move in, if we're moving forward to giving more information, I can say more. But if you're still like on the diner, that's all I got.
Anything you want to add to the diner scene before we get kind of into a little bit more of Slim and Mitch?
And okay. So knowing what we know about it that we didn't know at the time, like the first time I ever saw this movie, I remember I don't remember like seeing it, but I remember how I felt the first time I saw it. And it does feel like, oh my goodness, he came in, he saved her. And he's like, oh, he's such a good guy because he saved her from this asshole who was trying to play a game on her. And so you see Jenny tell her to go after him, and then you see, okay, it's a fairy tale. She found her Prince Charming, and now, you know, we skip ahead to happily ever after, or so she thinks. And um, so I think that is kind of, if you didn't
Well,
know
go,
anything
yeah, go
about,
there. You can go there. Go ahead. You going to the wedding, right?
yeah. So we get from there and we see Mitch comes from money. He has money, his family has money. So that adds another layer onto it. Like, okay, so he's a good guy who came in and saved her. Obviously, something came of it because now they're married. And, the way that his family, I have a whole thing about his mom, and I'll get there eventually. But
Okay. Hey,
she
stick a pin in.
was,
Don't forget that wherever you got it in your notes. Don't forget that part.
oh, I'm not gonna forget it.
Okay.
But so you see that he comes from money. His mom is not a bad person, not a bad character, but she's a little tone deaf. I'll put it that way. Because she's talking to Phil about, and this, here we learn she doesn't fit, Slim doesn't really have any family. Her mom passed away. Her dad has been out of her life since she was 2 or 3. Phil's been her, she's probably been working at the diner since she was a teenager. Phil is like her father. And um his family's paying for the wedding. And but even in that, you still see him kind of being sweet. And he's like, oh, are you gonna give me babies? And she's like, yeah.
Hmm.
And so you think, okay, this is sweet. If you don't know anything else about the movie up until this point, we have no reason to suspect that Mitch will turn out to be the type of person that he turns out to be. However, the next scene, which I won't go there yet because
Buying the house.
yes,
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
is where you kind of see
Red flag number
red,
one.
a red flag. And
Yeah.
it's like, now context matters because this could be seen as him just being like trying to make her happy and going out above and beyond. And on the other side, it's kind of like, ooh, now it tracks, you
Mm,
know.
mm, mm, mm. For me, them two, when we get to the wedding, there was an interesting scene with Jenny and Joe. And she was kind of seeing what's up, and Joe was like outgoing. He was just talking about like his sex game and really up to par. Like, I don't know if he was serious or it was just like a joking break the ice moment or whatever. But Slim wasn't tripping about it. Like, go for it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of all of the I got before we get into like one of the first red flags about Mitch. Ash, do you got anything as far? Or and then of course, like him just saying, "Are you gonna get? You gonna give me babies?" Like, everything about what he did after the diner was a controlling. It was just controlling. Like, he didn't. There wasn't really no ask. It's manipulation, leading the witness to a conclusion, and that's the way he dealt with her the entire time of this whole movie. Ash, is there anything you want to add to the wedding? If you don't have nothing, then you can go into, if you have it on your notes, go into the purchase of the house.
Okay. Yeah, I had exactly what you just said as far as the controlling, like, you're gonna give me babies and when, he's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
pushing the timeline on it.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, he's well off, obviously a good earner. Put that in there for you, brother.
Good Earners reviewing The Sopranos. Y'all go check that out on all your podcasts as well as YouTube feeds.
He gets what he wants, and I'm just gonna move right into the house because I didn't like that moment with Joe and Jenny. That was cute, like you said. He's terrible in bed, and he's cat, but because later on Slim was like, "You forget I had you," all that stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, Joe." But
But
yeah, like
he does it right, because the best
yeah,
move, what men need to understand, like, downplay it. Like,
yeah, but don't tell me you bad in bed, like.
I wouldn't go as far as bad, but like downplay it.
Uh,
Definitely downplay it. Like I,
Under promise, over deliver.
that part. That's what I'm getting at. That's it. I ain't gonna say
Just don't say
bad,
anything. Just
because you'll
let's
talk yourself.
find it out.
You say bad, you talk yourself out of the draws. But what Mia was saying, like, under promise,
Just
over deliver.
just say I'm cool. I'll take that, and then you be explosive, right? But don't tell me you're bad because
Nah, you ain't gonna get it. You ain't gonna get it.
I don't even want to like participate.
Can't listen to lies that come out of your mouth.
If I'm being honest.
Enough
Anyways,
about me.
unless I really, really no, never mind. Okay, so now we're moving on. We're moving on to the purchase of the home, right? He pulls up on this guy that is living comfortably, right? Has no intentions of selling his crib.
No sign in the grass.
No for sale signs, no open houses,
No Zillow, no Trulia.
no Rently, bro. You just pull
Rentley,
up.
like, no lockbox.
You pull up, clearly Slim is pregnant. He goes up talking to the guy like, hey, we want to buy your house. He's like, it's not for sale. It is. Like, again, very demanding, very controlling.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he gets what he wants. He's a man that gets what he wants. It seems like he's a powerful man. But really, it's like he's compensating. All of these acts and things he's doing is just a compensation. Um, but yeah, so he's giving him the ticket like, hey, this is above how much it's worth, giving extra.
Market price, yeah.
Yeah, above market price. And dude's like, he don't care about that. Like, I'm not trying to move. But clearly, he ends up threatening. Did he threaten him?
He definitely did.
In a way, yeah.
Oh, he
I
definitely
can
did.
he's like, until you're ready, or I'll come back the next day. And then, or something. Yeah, he
See, I
kept
think
saying,
maybe
like,
I got the direct quote. Let me see what I got. He says, so I have, when buying the house, it wasn't on the market, the current resident, yada yada yada. He says, miserable today, tomorrow, pretty much every day until the day you sell. And then he says, your kids are grown and you'll be happier in a smaller place.
And that was another thing. How you tell me where I'm gonna
Exactly.
be happy at? Excuse? You don't
What
even know me, bro.
That's
he got.
exactly like my face when he said that, and I was like, "Go
How,
tell
That
me where I'm gonna be
was
bro?
comfortable."
no
How you know
joking.
I got grown kids?
Exactly.
You don't
And
know it.
Like, what?
that's red flag number one right there. Like
Yeah,
that's where it started for me right there. I was like, oh, okay. He's not being old, jolly, and cheerful. He's
no.
telling you like, get out of here, or I'm gonna be here every day. Similar to brown sugar.
And I wanted to mention also. Oh no, she hadn't had the baby yet. Is that next?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. So are we getting into that, or did y'all want to say more
I
about?
want to say one
Yeah,
more thing
go ahead, Mia.
about that house. Just like, so you driving around, like you see a house, and you're like, "Oh, that is a really nice. I love that house. It's so pretty." You pull up. You haven't even seen the inside of the house yet. He's already making an offer. This house can have the bathrooms could be fucked up. You don't know what is going on the other side of that door.
Facts.
Just go offer somebody however much money, because I don't know what the housing market looked like in 2002. But offer somebody above market price for a house if they're not ready to sell, not planning on selling. That's probably their forever home that they was gonna pass down, grandkids come visit on how anything. You haven't seen this house other than from the curb. That was just crazy to me. Like
Yeah.
as a kid watching it, I thought like, oh, that's real bossy. You could just go see a house and just buy
Because he's
it.
smiling, because he's still smiling with all of this.
But as an adult, I'm like, wait a minute, I need to see some pictures. What that countertop looking like in the kitchen? Do we have an island? What is it? Open floor plan? What does the inside look like? And you just drove past and bought this house and you don't even know what it looks like. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That was crazy to
No,
me.
no, absolutely crazy. Like the way he just threatened, and I don't think that Slim really heard him. She was close, but I don't think she really heard how he gave it up.
Yeah.
And the old man, his reaction was definitely like he understood, like, okay, this is like crazy dude for real. Like I really don't have a choice. So this is what we doing. Um Amazing scene because they really introduce the first red flag and innocent embedded. And if you don't pick up on that in real time in 2002, you'll miss how we got where we got to. So um let's talk a little bit more about Mitch or and Mitch and Slim.
Mhm.
So Ash, we obviously after that now they got the crib. That's where we at next.
Yeah. I want to talk about the baby, her giving birth, right? So,
Oh, we
bro, he's at the construction site or whatever he's doing, and then it's time he get that call. She has the baby. Then the nurse gives the baby to him, right? And he's like just so infatuated with Gracie. His pager's going off, beeper, pager, whatever you call it. And like, first of all, give me the baby, because I
Oh,
definitely just pushed this baby out 5 hours, however many hours, skin to skin over here. Okay. First of all,
Ash.
you get her second. I just did this work. Give me the baby, right? And she didn't even get to look at her,
Ash.
bro. What you doing?
No lie, it's like you're reading my mind. I literally, as a mom, I'm like, if I say, bring her here, you better
Absolutely,
bring me my baby right now.
right now.
Give me the baby.
Yeah. So that had me hot out the gate because you know how much we went through. Stop playing with me, Mitch. Stop playing. And then your pager's going off, you hitting it, trying to be all like, acting like it's just nobody. Like, bro. And first
That's
of all,
strike two.
it's a strike two.
That's
Exactly.
strike two.
And then, bro, if you have pagers and beepers, man, you had money back. Pagers in the beeper era, I never had one of those.
Me neither.
Like 338 or all these codes, like that is it's crazy that that was a time where you let somebody know you wanted them to call you. Like, oh yeah, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, so then okay, so she has the baby,
Mhm.
and then they go to the park, right? They're at the
Beach.
Gracie's. Oh yeah, they go to the beach, playing in the sand, and he's so detached.
Mhm.
Like she's building the castle with Gracie. He's just looking at her. It's almost like he wanted this family dynamic as like his basis, but he wants so much more than
Mm.
that. So you got your beautiful wife, you got your daughter, and you're detached. You're thinking about some other way you can manipulate and control something to get something else that you're wanting. Again, compensation, bro. Like never satisfied. He seemed like one of them type of men. Um, but yeah, so that's what I had.
I blame his mother, but we'll get there. Um, yeah, so Mo, did you
Oh,
have
go ahead.
something
You go
about this?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So skipping forward, like Ash said, to the beach scene, because it's like, we jump, 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 jump until we get to the meat and potatoes of the movie. And you slowly, in each time jump, you see a little progression of him just being a little bit like, hold on, wait, okay, all right. And so, she has the baby. Like we said, he's being weird about, hey, give me my baby. Okay,
That's
I just had
crazy
her.
work. That's
Bring her here.
crazy, bruh.
Like, dude, don't piss me off like that. As
That's
a mom,
crazy.
that's triggering. If I say, bring me my baby fresh out the womb, I need you to go ahead and bring her over here.
That is
Um,
by far that was the biggest red flag out the gate, outside of like obviously the physical.
and then you get that little nugget planted when his pager goes off. And she's like, "Who is that?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, some construction thing." And you're already like, "Oh, he's a liar. You're lying. That was a lie." And then they get to the beach. She's playing with Gracie. They're having a great time. He's just laying there, not paying them any attention. He doesn't want to play. And then now we're getting to the big red flags, the the
Big red
real the
flags.
real deal. Because
Mm.
it don't start with the because we get the shower scene where she wants to get join him in the shower,
Yeah,
and
get
he's like,
busy.
I gotta hop out and go back to work. First of all, what time is it? Because it's dark
That
outside.
is
You gotta go
always
back.
a sign with a guy.
Yep.
If you don't want me to join you in the shower,
If they do
If I
that,
drop
you
my robe,
unless
uh,
unless you really like let yourself really, what I mean, go, that is definitely a telltale. Like they be like, oh nah, I'm just yeah, right away out the gate. That for sure. Which they nailed this part. Well, go ahead, Mia.
like, you know, so there, as soon as she goes in the other room, she sees his pager go off. Number 33, Darcel. So she calls the number because that women's intuition told her, you know what? Nah. And his little French croissant answers the
Croissant,
phone.
croissant.
That's one of my favorite lines too
yeah,
that comes up later. He's like, is this my little croissant? No, it's your loaf of bread.
I have that in my notes. I
One
love
of
it.
my favorites. Like, that's one of my favorite lines.
We do need something for lyrics though, because
We
like
should have like the funniest line or some type of line.
Funniest.
we need something like that. Shout out to Coach Garn with the quotes, best quote, because we need something. Because some of these movies just got timeless quotes.
This one has a few. I have a few from this one. But so then we find out he's cheating. And we have another time jump, and it's like if he apologizes. And you think,
Oh,
okay,
so she takes him back in that moment, and
yeah,
then
where's this gonna go? And then it becomes like where you see, like, okay, now it's a regular thing.
mhm.
And she's like, I can smell her, Darcel or whoever, like to the point now where she's fed up because this has been going on for a little minute.
How long do you think that time frame was from when she forgave him to when he became like it's just a regular thing? Because that was kind of like why the title cards really hurt the movie in some sense. Because it's like, yeah, I could have just used timestamps like
Yeah.
6 months, 6 months later.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Instead of saying, trying to get your love and basketball on, and it wasn't quite that type of movie.
I want to say a couple months because Gracie was still the same age. She was still little. So I want to say it probably was a couple of months to the point where she knows who Darcel is. She knows what she smells like. She's familiar with the ins and outs. And he's probably gotten caught a few times and apologized a few times. And this
Mm,
is the point where he's like, you know what?
I don't care.
Time to pop out.
Tired to pop out. And he was like, "Bro, hey, look,
Mask off.
out the gate. This is what's happening. This is really bracking." Um, yeah, just like all the things you said. He says that he's a person that always gets what he wants. Her, the job, the house. It's definitely sound like white man privilege. Like that. That is. I'll get to that. There'll be more about that later. But like definitely sound like really strong white man privilege. Again, this is 2002, so it's a different landscape. But like him saying that sounded, it definitely brought me like, oh, this is what it must feel like to, you know what I mean, be a wealthy and you know attractive enough white male in this time period. So, but yeah, like if she goes off and she tells him, like she ain't trying to do this, I ain't going for it. He slaps her, then he punches her.
Crazy
Babe,
work.
listen,
Mm.
with the
Crazy work.
woo, woo.
What was that like for y'all? Y'all being mothers, being in relationships, in your adulthood. What was that like for y'all seeing it? I mean, we've seen it obviously as kids, but like now we're grown and seeing him take that route.
It was jacked up. I mean, you already have this hold and control of her emotionally, and like you just hit her just because, like she already you've been cheating on her for months, and she's still here, and now she's giving that indication, like you know what, I'm not a doormat. I'm finna like dip out on you, and so you slap her down, and then the punch was nuts. Like that was crazy work.
It
Like
was. It really
it was
was.
very daunting. I'm like, okay, you're clowning, bro. And I'm definitely finna dip out. Like once you sleep or whatever, yeah, it's like that was terrible. Woo!
If I'm her, I'm injecting you.
Listen,
I'm gonna inject you with something that's gonna keep you sleep.
listen. You gotta go because here's the thing. That switch flipped so quick. It went from,
Yeah.
oh, we just went to dinner and then, but it was like he was gonna keep it up until she started standing up for herself and saying, I'm not gonna just sit here and take it like I sit here, I take care of your house and your kid, and you go out and do whatever. And then he slaps her, and then he's like, what? I can't hit you? No, you can't. And then he punches her.
I don't understand how you got to that logic. That was the craziest part of the movie. Like, I can't hit you. What do you mean can't? Like,
Because in his mind, he can do whatever he wants to do. He can do whatever to her. She can't go anywhere. He's entitled to her. He's entitled to his family. He's entitled to have his women on the side. He's entitled to have whatever he wants. And we've seen that from him in the red flags that built up to this point. But of course, you don't see it until you see it. And now we know, oh, he's a psycho. Crazy. He is insane because not only did you just hit me and say, hey, yeah, I can hit you whenever I want to. I'm not going to live without you. I love you. You're staying here. I'm going to go see Darcel. Now I don't have to lie about it anymore. I'll just tell you I'm going to Darcel.
Oh man.
Then he said, our sex life is great. It's just I'm a man, and there's certain things. What, bro?
Sir,
Get out
go
my
straight
face.
to hell.
It really makes you wonder because his friend that was a part of the setup from the gate, he kind of was like, why are you with her? Like, why do you want her? Because he was definitely downplaying her.
Hmm.
And it's like, did you do this because you wanted to have control? Because she's a waiter, she's a server. So you're looking for her to serve you in the capacity that you see fit. I thought that was just an interesting question when his friend asked him at the precinct.
You have
Like,
a good point, and I just had a thought about it. Like maybe because she was from such a different social class, he saw somebody who he could potentially control. Like he
yeah,
knew because he said it in the scene when he hits her, and she's like, he said, I make the money, so I make the rules. And she said, what if I don't like the rules? And that's when it's like,
mm,
let me tell you, I don't care if you like the rules, this is what it is. And then it gets scary because when she goes to pick up the phone, he pops his head in the window. Who you calling? Whoa,
It's
bruh.
calling my
your
phone.
mother.
That's calling that.
I need to cancel tomorrow.
That was a crazy, like the double back on the like quick tip, like
Because now I'm scared. Now I'm terrified. Now I'm about to pack a bag and we're just about to dip out right this
and,
minute.
and dude looked crazy already for real.
You know what?
Hey,
I have something in my notes in a later section of my notes
Okay,
because
okay,
hey.
a casting thing.
yes.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
fair enough.
After that, pop his head in. Hey, I'm Tina Turner when she was at the hotel with Ike. Okay, in that white bad suit, running barefoot across the waves. Well, that final run, hey, Tina was out. You hear me?
She's
For
getting
real, like.
getting the
Trying to see
Anthony
what
on for real.
She,
but
Um, not
ew.
no, yeah, no doubt. But she knew, like, she tried to build towards a plan, and there was a night where she was ready to escape. He was asleep. She grabs her daughter, and there was her, kind of village waiting for her in a van, and they were waiting for like the signal to give an indication that she's out, she's getting out, whatever. But eventually, Mitch wakes up. They end up running in there because they can hear something, busting windows, busting in doors open, and this part was like super inaccurate. Like it wasn't in my notes, but it was very inaccurate. Like a dude pull a strap on you for real, you're not getting away. Like there ain't no, oh, I gotta, nah, you ain't getting away because they don't got no. And now if they had a strap too, then it'd be like different. But like, nah, bro. Um, so they end up basically. This is like the progressive storyline for Slim. She gets her daughter, even though she's bruised up. She want to go to the hospital. She's trying to create a consistent, good environment for her daughter. So we can kind of get into that part of the story. Whatever y'all would like to add to that.
uh, you said what part? I'm sorry.
Like when
Like
she remember when her
broke up,
friends,
like
her friend with the her fake father or whatever, and the two friends, Jenny and whoever the other guy was, they come
Phil is the
Phil.
dad character. Well, the
The
surrogate
fake father, let bro tell it. He's so terrible.
That's me. That's me.
So we're on the part where she does the
where
like.
she's trying to escape.
Well,
Oh, okay.
she does escape, but it feel like I said, it feels a little inaccurate because it's like Mitch already had the gun out on everybody, and like nobody had nothing. And they grabbed the daughter, and it's like, oh, you're not gonna shoot. Like it was
That
kind
was
of,
smart though.
it was
That
smart,
was
but
smart.
he still didn't have to let Slim go.
Yes, he did. Because what was he gonna do?
I'm
He
keeping
had to
Slim, but
take,
y'all can take my daughter, but you ain't getting Slim.
but
Like,
they would not. They would that would never happen. Like they're not gonna
Mhm.
take like. So how is he going to if he wakes up Gracie and says, "Hey, look at your dad. He's holding the gun. He has to put the gun away because he sees Gracie," and then Slim is with Jenny and the other guy. They've already picked her up and they're like, you know what, we're leaving. He doesn't want Gracie to see him do anything that's going to change her opinion of him yet. He's still at the point where he thinks it's salvageable to the point where he doesn't want to taint Gracie's image of him, which is why when Phil wakes Gracie up and says, "Look at your papa," he puts the gun away and he just kind of like, you know what, okay, cool, I'll see you soon. This isn't done. I don't think he would have popped off with the gun or snatched some up in front of Gracie, which is why they woke her up.
fair enough, fair enough. You make some great points. Um,
He hadn't gotten there yet, but he was gonna get there soon.
yeah. So just to cover a little bit of a multitude of the story, so eventually she gets away and she travels to where Joe is, which is in Seattle. And then she, they get he get kind of like hemmed up and checked out, found out about, but they were able to hide in the furnace, and she left from there and went even further. I didn't quite catch the city.
He went to San Francisco to
Uh,
find her father,
okay,
Jupiter.
San Francisco. Okay. Oh, that is crazy. Crazy name, Jupiter. Um, and so because she's trying to like kind of build a plan, she's trying to like have a established life quietly. Um, so we can cover kind of all of that encompasses this, and then we'll go kind of into her going back to do what she had to do. So I feel like this is like the next section of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that y'all want to speak to, the goons, the switching from cars, the cars having plan, whatever y'all want to, wherever y'all want to go by any means. Ash, I'll start with you first.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't have too much for those, like you said, those in between scenes. I mean, she had got the hotel room, what with Jenny's credit card, which was
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It's stupid. He knows all your friends. He knows all your people. So that was just dumb. So then when she it wasn't then Phil paid with cash. What
Yeah,
was that time when she
that was
was
for the plane ticket, her
okay
one-way ticket to Seattle.
to Joe? Okay. Okay. I mean, I just said a little bit about Joe, really, but and then I know Mia wanted to talk about Mitch's mom and stuff too, but yeah, I'll just kind of touch on Joe a little bit, how he's so supportive and he just seemed like he was just a very kind-hearted, compassionate guy. Although he did smash Jenny,
Hmm.
you could tell
Hmm.
he was
Hmm.
deeply in love with Slim. Like I guess it just didn't work out, or maybe it was a timing thing, or I don't know what happened, but
He
you could
said
clearly.
that she had to leave their college because of money, and they just kind of
Oh,
remain friends after that.
oh, okay, okay. But yeah, you can definitely tell he's head over heels for Slim. Um, Yeah, I mean, loyal guy. And I just wanted to touch on his character and his peace in that, like she was looking for some peace and looking for a safe haven. And again, she said that she saw Joe's face, like when she thought of the last time she felt safe. So I thought that was good, even though again, Mitch, he knows about Joe as well. There's no escaping this guy. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then I'm ready to, get to it.
Okay, I just want to make a point about, because we talk a lot about, finding out Mitch is abusive and her trying to escape, but let's talk about how determined he was, because she was a great runner.
Yeah,
She was a great runner. Once she
Both
got
parties were
to,
determined for sure.
once she found Jupiter, he was a terrible person. That's not my kid. You're not my kid. Here's $12 to go get a sandwich. And not until somebody came and threatened his life did he feel like he should help her, which was crazy to me. Like, so you don't want to help me until somebody comes and threatens? That's wild. But
Yeah, that was
she's somewhere in the sticks with one of Phil's friends who has like a boarding house or whatever. He sends Phil the money. Phil sends it to her. She gets her shit together, gets a house. She safeguards the hell out of it. She's got locks and she's got an escape plan. She's got her car with the keypad. She's got a bag ready to go. She's got a car waiting for her at her escape route with another bag, with another car seat, and she's ready for whatever. But where she slips up is, it's just her and Gracie. She can't contact anybody really because she's in hiding. She's changed her name. And Gracie says, I think you miss Daddy. And she's like, Daddy yells at me, Toots. And she's like, you miss somebody. So we see um Joe come visit them where they are. And not only that, she's driving to where she thinks is far enough, but really isn't, to call Mitch's mom. Mitch's mom convinces her to call Mitch, which then he's already at the police station, tracking her phone call, finds out where she is. They track Joe ticket to where they are. Robbie finds them. Boom, she's found out. She has to run again. And this is the point where I'm like, okay, she knows now there is no more running. I gotta do something. Like I gotta figure something out. So she goes and finds a lawyer to get some advice from, which is another point that doesn't
Bill
have.
Cobbs. Shout out to Bill Cobbs.
Yes. As Mr. Tyler, I want to make a point about how all but one, because there are only 3 Black people in this movie. One of the guys who was posing as an FBI agent,
Yep. Okay.
uh, but then Mr. Tyler and the instructor. And I love that 2 of the wisest, most helpful characters are the Black guys.
Yeah.
Wise Negroes. But but he basically tells her, like, you're screwed. You had opportunities to go to the police, you didn't. You ran. He has money, you don't. He's gonna try to kill you and he's probably gonna get custody. So what options does she have? I'm gonna drop my baby off to my friends, send them away, and I'm about to figure out how to end this once and for all. I gotta, Jupiter sets her up with an instructor and he teaches her how to think. And the rest is history. She formulates.
Think with her hands.
Listen, I just had to
Sticks
summarize
and
that
stones,
middle
chrome
part.
on chrome. That's just what. All right.
no, that was what I didn't realize, that Jupiter set her up with the instructor. I thought it
That's
was the
news to me.
lawyer.
That's news to
Yeah, I
me.
thought it
Yeah,
was the
I
lawyer
thought
for some
that too
reason.
for a really long time, but yeah, it was Jupiter.
So that was something new to me on this watch. I was like, okay. Sometimes he gave her something, like he wrote something down for her, maybe.
Yeah, so go
lawyer.
ahead. So then, yeah, go ahead and get into it. Then, as far as we're kind of in the middle section of the film,
Yeah.
with her, she's always obviously on the run. She has her daughter. We get the whole Jupiter storyline, as Mia has eloquently put, and then now we're getting into a interesting place. There's a lot that happens. Obviously, Mitch's friend comes into the picture. So, what did you have in your notes for those things?
For what now?
The kind of the middle section where like now Slim is on the run. She has her daughter, and Mitch is like trying to kind of find her, come after her, and she's like in San Francisco, or even the connection with Joe. All of that, like we're kind of like in the middle section of the film at this point. I mean, we kind of got the layout of like the toxicity of who
Hmm.
Mitch was as far as punching her, slapping her. But now we're in the middle section where she is like trying to protect her daughter, going into where Joe was, and then also going on her own in San Francisco.
So this is where you find out the most about Mitch. Like, and you see that the whole reason why she left in the first place is because when she went to the police station after he hit her that first one or two times, and they told her that the protection order would not be good for her daughter, she said, "Oh no, I gotta go." Like, that's because she wanted to protect Gracie from him. And you see throughout her whole time being on the run, everything she does is to protect Gracie. We don't necessarily see Mitch as a threat, an immediate threat to Gracie, but she knows that if he gets a hold of her, it's only a matter of time because an abuser is an abuser is an abuser. And um and I just want to say I noticed this time around this watch because it never really stood out to me. Like I knew Gracie was there, but imagine the trauma, like being at a motel with your mom, and you hear somebody banging on the door, and y'all gotta run out the window, and you're running, and it's your dad, and you get on the bus, and she's terrified. Then you get in on a plane, and you go to Seattle, and you're having fun talking about fudge sundaes. Now you gotta hide in the furnace. Then you're finally at your new home, and your dad pops up, and now y'all got like, and you're running, and it's just like like we never really see because Gracie was so little, but that little girl, the trauma,
A tough time being an adult, like for sure. Like when she gets to adult stage, it's gonna be a tough time.
she's gonna need therapy. She's gonna
Mm-hmm.
need some therapy.
For real, for real.
Slim tried to do everything she could to keep her safe. Like the way she scooped her up after she's maced Mitch when he came to the house. That's one of my favorite scenes too, because Gracie's laying on the floor. She didn't miss a beat. She didn't stumble or fall. She ran and she scooped her baby up and ran out the back door and got up through.
Mm. Ash, what say you?
Yeah, I mean that's why I had Gracie as a character. I had her on my list. Just the
Mm.
innocence of a child and her bravery. Like I said, as the parent, Slim's trying to cover up as much as she can. Like, because this is your dad that's actually out here trying to harm me. You know, and so trying to have that fine line of we on the run and not trying to tarnish your image of your dad, but this is where we're at.
Mm.
Even when she was like at the payphone and he was talking to Gracie, and then Slim was hopping back on, and then Gracie ended up hearing him call her the B word, and then she didn't even want to talk no more. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Sad. So she was such the cutest little girl. But then you try to create those fun moments. She jumping on the bed. You said she can rename herself Queen Elizabeth. For her to get enrolled in school or whatever. And just her Slim's relationship with Jupiter too. Like he finally like after somebody came and said they're gonna kill Slim. You give her some bread. She gets this crib. I mean, it didn't look like it was enough for a crib. I mean, I was kind of counting that she was spreading. I'm like, all right, it didn't look like
Nah, it wasn't that type.
maybe
You ain't got that
maybe
type of
10
bag.
G's, maybe.
I always
Maybe.
assume that she wrote back for more money because he said if this reaches you and you need more,
Yeah.
just send word. So I
I
feel
know
like
I got that, but then it was like you right after the fold out, you bought the crib. Like you did the enhancements on it. You got the, you know, what I mean, you putting everything together.
little down
Oh,
payment.
baby girl. But but yeah, so she get the crib. She feeling a little more empowered, more secure. Um, yeah, I don't really have too much as far as other than when we get into her training, like when we, it's
To
time to
like
get it cracking.
yeah, get to the like actual
Mhm.
finale. So let me see what to cover here. So shout out to Slim for having a James Bond watch. You know what I mean? To help her escape along with all those traps. You know what I mean? Having some spray out that joint. That's pretty advanced for 2002. Uh, uh, she tries to start her life over with a haircut, a new ID, and then she eventually calls Mitch so that he can talk to their daughter. But he crosses the line and she hangs up. You know, I was just like, what type of time? It makes sense for a film, but in real life, it's like, bruh, this man punched you. It's one thing to be slapped. It's another thing to be punched. Open
If
hand versus closed hand. Like, don't get me wrong. They're
he
both they're
is,
both disrespectful. I'm not saying there's one level over the other, but like open hand and closed hand. Like when you go closed hand, I look at you like you just another, like you could be man, woman. I don't care who you is. When I close my fist, like bro, it's disrespectful. So
he stomped her out in the living
yeah,
room.
yeah, he definitely went crazy on the you know, I'm about to give a line, but I ain't gonna do that. All right. And so let's continue forward. So they get close and they try to catch her, and amazing the contingency on top of the contingency. You know, jumping from one car, having the wig on, taking the wig off, jumping to the next car, bags is already packed in the next, and she, eventually goes to see the attorney, like I've spoke of, the late great um, Bill Bill Cobbs. I love him as an actor. He's one of my favorite actors, and he was on The Sopranos, season one. He basically give her a game like, look, like you didn't go to the cops early enough. Pretty much ain't a ton we can do. So he didn't tell her necessarily go fight, get trained up, but he did definitely tell her like you kind of on your own, so you probably want to make sure you put yourself in position. And he told her like, hey, look, when you get back, it's not going to be so much about the custody case. It's going to be about something else, having you in one place and him having his way. And so, with that being said, she and one up him and said, "Oh, yo, I'm coming back a month ahead of the actual hearing," which is brilliant from her. So, yeah, I don't have a ton other, but other than her starting to prepare herself. So let's get into our last. Let's get into the last section of the film. Obviously, uh, she trains up. She gets her hand game is getting tight. Her kick game getting tight. Her stealth game is getting tight. She's doing everything she needs to do, blindfolding herself, understanding the steps and space in the home that he lives in. He actually has moved on, found another relationship. She got a decoy out in San Fran. Um, he moved on having a relationship, but he also still cheating on her as well, and she notices that. And then before we know it, he comes back, double checks, and then when he finally comes back, this is where the big showdown happens. React.
Um, yeah, man. She she endured a lot of abuse, and again, the the old man, the lawyer, said, "Hey, he's just trying to know where you're at, get you back in one place. Like, it's not about trying to settle this out in court. Like, if he can't have you, nobody can." Which is so crazy, but that a lot of people be thinking like that. When these psychos like him, they really rather you be dead than to move on. Even though I'm cheating on you consistently, and I really don't want you for real. That about the psyche on that. That's bonkers. That's nuts. But but yeah, so after enduring all that abuse, she plans the setup. She starts to train and she learns self-defense, and she tried to set the scene and the scenario to regain control of her life. She's protect me and mine, and by any means. Um so yeah, she lures Mitch to the crib. She doing the steps to learn the house, right? Learn the distances between the couch and the table. She's setting it up. And then I like when that part when she was training with the guy and he was like, uh, I think he said, "What if he gets you down?" or something. He said, and she was like, "It's not going to happen." It was like we always prepare for. I
See,
forgot what he said.
that's my favorite. Like this whole, like that whole section is my favorite part of the movie. Like her training, because
Yes,
the way he spoke to her was just
yes,
like, no, like
no. We always prepare for the
he
worst or
said,
something.
uh, he gets you down, and she said that
Yeah.
stuff. He said, uh, we have to prepare even for the impossible. We bend the world to our will, but it'll only go
Mm,
so far.
yes.
Like, hold on to my voice.
And that voice is so
You're dead.
captivating, right?
He thinks he won. And as sure as he's a coward, he will try to kick you. And she like, and I love how they brought his voice back in the
Mhm.
moment and you hear what he's telling her because I feel like that was such an important part of like her training was just his voice and the way that he taught her, which is
Yeah.
why Jupiter said, did he teach you how to think? And she said, I hope so, because it was the physical training, but it was a lot
Hmm.
of like
Mental.
mental training to prepare her for everything that he could possibly do
Right,
in
right.
every way that he would think, so that
Yeah,
she would always be two steps ahead of him during the fight.
yeah. And I love this scene. Like I said, she's scoping out the crib, trying to see, get everything, finding all his secret guns in these different places, and she just putting them in different areas. And she set up the thing to disconnect the phone service, and just really preparing herself for this is how it's gonna go.
The
But
letter,
low key though, this premeditated murder, bro. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's premeditated murder because you got the letters saying you're coming over to talk about Gracie. Premeditated. Again, I will give you the self defense because he's already been whooping your ass. But this
It,
incident right here
it
is
is,
premeditated.
but
I
it's
don't know
like
if you could talk
you've been
about
track,
Gracie per my letters that your fingerprints are on.
but
Yeah.
it's like you've been tracking me. I was in San Fran. You had the boys pull up at Joe's crib. Like, bro, I already left. Fall back, bro. But
Yeah.
now you got the boys coming at Joe's crib and they damn near about to slice his neck, tearing up his good furniture. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like getting like for real,
Prove
like
that,
tearing his crib up. Like you're for real about bringing me back and doing. And even your friend was like, bro, like she's a waitress. Like what you on, bro? And he's like, nah, she different. Like so, it's like by the time she gets to
I
the point of
just
the premeditated, you're absolutely right. But it's like I gotta make sure. Like yeah,
no, I get it, and she had to do what she had to do. But I had to play devil's advocate a little bit right there. Like
it's
this is
pre. Yeah,
premeditated
yeah.
murder.
You
Like
definitely came in with a concept.
right, looking for
Yeah.
revenge. So 16, but But yeah, man. So she set him up again. He's at the crib with a whole nother woman that's not Darcel. And she like, you want my number? Like he like, sure. Like he's just used to just
This is who he
getting
is.
what whoever I want tonight. Like, yeah, you
Having
can leave a
having my
number,
way.
but pretty much getting whatever he wants. Um, so yeah, she,
Handsome and rich. Like
right, she knuckling up. You know what I mean? She got all the rings on. We strapped up on the knuckles and slapping him around too. Didn't even close the fist out the gate. Right?
Will,
We gonna slap a little bit.
real Will Smith treatment. You know what I mean?
So we gonna slap you around like, and now I don't want to do this. Oh, you don't want to hit me when I hit you back, right?
Yeah,
Or you
yeah, yeah.
only want
Knock
to
it
like
off.
sucker
Knock it
punch
off.
me.
Yeah, we ain't
Yeah,
doing
I'm
that.
right here. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And so I just love how she was taunting him throughout the whole process. You know what I mean? And once that nose started bleeding, that boy like, all right, all it takes is one good hit.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, he was dependent on that. But and again, even still, when she had him, when she had the thing, and she could have just ended it there. She couldn't do it, but she knew. I mean, he was gonna get back up, and she had to do what she had to do.
Had to do what she had to do.
Yeah, man.
Any final thoughts for you with this latter part of the movie, Mig?
Um, all of what Ash said, but also like the way that she like you see not only like you see her mental strength build and how much of a difference you see in her from that first time he hit her when she was with Jenny at the diner. I'm not the type of person whose husband beats her up. He's the father of my child. I'm not going to send him to prison. To now, what's the matter, Mitch? You can only hit me when I'm not expecting it. All I did was slap you around a little bit. And now it's like she's been through this arc where now she's stronger. She's more, she's had to be strong and independent because she's had to be on the run. She's had to take care of her daughter. But now she's ready. And even though, yeah, when she had him down, she had the opportunity to just kill him, smash his head in, she couldn't do it. Because at heart, she's still a good person. She's not a killer. She doesn't want to be like him. But once he got up and he got her down, all it took was an image of him pushing her baby. And she said, you know what? Yeah, I got it. I got to get you up out of here.
For me, as far as the last sequence, I mean, this is brilliant. This is like a big part of the trailer that came out back then. Was like definitely the selling point, um, for sure. You know, but the training, everything. I love this type of coming to age, this fight back, defensive, revengeful, so to speak. I love this type of thing in films, and her doing this and like getting her comfort up. You know, just talking about rebuttaling to all the things that he said and he had done. I really enjoyed it. You know, I definitely don't think she was coming to necessarily kill him, but I think she wanted to cover her tracks if I kill him. I'm not saying I'm gonna slow down, but if it comes to that, I will definitely break your damn neck. You know what I mean? And you know, and we see what happened. So the latter part of the movie, it was really good. It's a great payoff, but I think it's something that was so special to women. I love that they gave this example because it's like unfortunately a lot of women get in these situations where the man is he telling you one thing but he's the other thing, and then you don't know where to go from there. Sometimes you feel like you don't have nobody. So this movie, I'm not it's a bit of extreme, but at the same time it is based on a lot of true events. um so yeah.
She
uh
definitely went in there to kill him, though. She
you
Definitely.
blocking signal, ain't no 911 or ambulance, you definitely about to whack them. Ash, character you relate to or identify with the most?
Gotta go with Slim, man. Um, just to be a little bit vulnerable. You know, I went through a lot in my previous marriage. No like abuse or nothing like that physically, but definitely went through some things in my first marriage. Wasn't the guy I thought he was. And the hardest thing to do is leave, you know. And, having a young child at that time, Anthony was 3 when I left. So younger than Gracie. And so, yeah, I definitely relate to Slim. You got to protect at all costs. And what's no longer serving you, you got to get up out of there. And your safety is very important. So, yeah, I
Absolutely.
definitely relate to Slim.
Protect black women. Mig G.
Yes. Um, Character I relate to the most. I wanted to say Slim. However, I have to say Jenny.
Why?
Um, so I definitely relate to Slim in the sense of being a mama bear. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to protect my babies. But I think a lot of that came from Jenny because where Slim went when she needed that push, that extra push, was to Jenny. I tend to be a little bit more of a go-to person a lot of the times for friends of mine, people in my life. Not saying like I'm super wise, but I like to encourage my friends to be strong. And I feel like that's what Jenny was for Slim. In those moments of weakness and those moments, but she did it so gently. Even from the first time Slim came to her with that she was hit.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you got to go to the police. And she saw how Slim took that and she instantly said, wait, 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 sit down. This is what I'm saying. And it was always very encouraging, but very gentle. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mom. Jenny was a mom. I'm a little bit, I can be flirty and outgoing. I feel like I just relate to her character as far as just the personality, her personality traits remind me more of myself than Slim.
Okay. What say you at? Did you already say Ash? Who?
Yeah, I went first.
Okay. For me, I would say Joe. Not Goldberg. uh, Joe is he's just one of those guys that may not be edgy or bad boyish, maybe not that interesting on at first, but as you get to know him after dating, some of those he becomes like a more interesting person, a more grounded person, a more person that you're looking at differently. That at one point, oh, he's this goody two shoes, or oh, he's this regular dude, square. But then now he becomes valuable and more interesting when you try to take a walk on the other side, on the wild side, with a person like Mitch. You realize like the bad boy is not working for you, and you realize this guy makes you feel safe. You know, um, so I definitely identify and connect with Joe the most.
Heard.
Ash, the character that can get the stepping, the character you could do without.
I didn't have anyone. I felt like everybody kind of played their part, their role. It wasn't really a lot of. If I had, I just thought of one right now. Probably that third friend that ran in the crib with Phil and Jenny. Like, I don't even remember seeing that dude. Um, so he could probably get the stepping, but that's if I had to say somebody. Other than that,
Okay, fair enough. Me and G.
I gotta go with bitch's mom. It's Hiller.
Mm.
because I feel like
I should have thought about that. That's a great pick.
I don't necessarily know what she added other than I don't even think she added any perspective. She when Slim first goes to her, the first time she's hit, and she's like, "What did you do? What did you say to him?" All you really get is a sense that he's kind of always been this way. Like, girl, you didn't give me no warning that your son was crazy. You knew he was crazy. Then, I go on the run. We're still calling you, but you're not helping with it. You're not adding anything to you. Like, we just see her making phone calls to her throughout, but she's not offering any guidance or advice or help. Like, get your son, help me. What are you doing? Help.
Help me.
Like, she's just like, I'm like, you're useless. And I could have done without that because it didn't do nothing but make me mad.
Fair enough. I didn't have anyone, surprisingly enough, because every character that really popped up, they served the story, the plot. So I didn't feel that there was a character that wasn't needed because they served the plot. I had some close calls, but when I thought about it, if I take them out, that plot doesn't get served. I mean, the context doesn't get served. So that's the only reason. But a lot of times, I definitely have a character that can get you stepping.
Oh, we know.
um, there's no. This is not a musical type style movie, so there's no favorite song.
I have a favorite
Oh,
song.
okay. What you got?
This Way by Jewel. It was playing during the beach scene. Say that you say.
Mm.
Oh, that's a pretty song.
I
Singing
got
me.
No. You're
That's all right.
not gonna make a fool out of me.
Yeah. I just hit the
The
15.
internet is forever.
Yeah, I just hit the 15-second skip the rewind. Like, yeah, if y'all want to hear the Mia G vocals. Um, okay. Things you would change about the movie, Ash, or what they didn't get right.
I just sum it up really. The movie moved too quickly. Like I said, I feel like they could have slowed down a bit so we can really get a better grasp of the characters, especially the relationship with Slim and Mitch. Like I said, it kind of just it hopped right in, and then it was nonstop from there. So I would have liked it to be slowed down a little bit more. Um, yeah, that's all I had.
Fair enough. Mig G.
Um, Let me see. So what I had in my notes, and this is really superficial, but none of the men in the movie were really attractive. Like, I feel like there could have been one heart throb, whether Mitch was more attractive and that's what drove it a little bit more, or maybe Joe was a little bit more. There's this very mediocre white boy
Facts.
type situation. And I'm like, Slim, no, like this is all you got to choose from? Can we do a little better? Can we get a little spice? Can we get a little Brad Pitt? Like, can
You
we
thought
get
I was feeling you?
a little Paul Rudd as Joe, maybe?
Paul
Can we
Rudd.
get a little,
You a Paul Rudd guy? I mean, you a Paul Rudd chick?
have you seen Clueless? Are you crazy?
Ah, okay.
I
I'm
mean,
right.
Billy Zane as Mitch, maybe. Like, I just feel like there
Billy
were
Zane is a little different from Rudd, though.
no, I'm saying Billy Zane as Mitch, not as Joe.
Oh, it's
Paul
Mitch.
Rudd, Paul Rudd is the good guy, so of course he's got to be Joe. But Billy Zane is the villain, so he could be Mitch.
Like,
I'm just saying
okay,
there was
fair enough.
like he didn't like they weren't cute. That
Yeah,
there's me. Where's the eye candy?
no, that's facts. And Joe, he really was not. So I probably believe that you weren't good in bed because you weren't serving up
Yeah,
anything.
they definitely like looking at him. He definitely looked like
He
not
was a
no.
But
little
Mitch,
mousy, like just a little mousy. Like, could we give a
yeah,
little something, something? Like, even if you gonna be,
Changed well though. Like once he started getting in like the beard, like oh, I'll take this, Mitch.
who
Well,
is this?
that's what I was saying. That's why I was
Oh, with the facial
surprised.
Yeah,
hair.
this is Mitch.
I was like, he learned,
Her.
really learned, he don't look like a crazy dude, like at this point. Because when I was looking him up, I was like, oh, he looked regular right here.
Yeah,
If he would have had the beard, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's great, but you know that 2002, they still was doing like the baby face shave.
Ever.
Yeah. Um, for me, a few things as far as things I would change about the movie or what they didn't get right. In the beginning, when the other guy ordered food, he ordered soup and a turkey burger, but there was no turkey burger.
I have a rebuttal.
Okay.
I don't think it ever got a chance to get it. I feel like she said, I'll be right back with your soup. It was like an appetizer, like you get your soup and salad first, and
Okay.
then before he could get his burger, Mitch had already hemmed him up and put him out.
Mm. So they brought the soup out as an appetizer.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
I'm gonna bring
Fair.
your soup out, and then, your burger we're still working on.
That's fair. I can see that. I'm not mad at that. Another thing, she says she goes by Slim because she doesn't want people to know her name, but we never get her real name, and everyone calls her Slim. Her dad calls her Slim. This was pretty. This was boo boo writing right here to me. I was like, yeah, should have just gave her real name because this doesn't move or stop anything. Your name is Slim, and you're still getting found out about in San Francisco. Like you're not hot, you're not slick, bro. Like it no, like that was a little bit that was some boo boo writing. And then lastly, the movie does a wild time jump from dinner to married. And they could have, to me, they could have spent more time in the dating process for us to see the remnants of who he is, like see early seeds planted of red flags when we're dealing with Mitch. Instead of, oh, we see it after the fact. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because immediately once they get married, he goes to the house and we see immediately like, oh, he's toxic. It's a red flag. But I wish we would have got a little bit more on the dating scene. They just time jumped and it was like, eh. So those are the three things that I got. Uh, Mia G, what's the moral of the story in your opinion?
To quote my favorite character, Jenny, you have a divine animal right to protect your life and the life of your offspring. And I think that really summed it up. Like, you could say she found her strength because she felt she needed to protect herself and her child. And I think we all have that in us as mothers, most of us anyway, When it comes to, you could be scared of a lot of things, but when it comes to protecting your kids, you're going to stand on business every time. You're always going to, you could have the fear of God in you, but when it comes to protecting your kids, that courage comes from a place that you didn't know you had.
Listen to
You're
me.
gonna do it.
Listen to me.
It's facts.
Ash, more of the story, in your opinion.
Pretty similar. I said a mother's strength knows no limits.
Fair enough. Short and sweet and strong.
Mhm.
For me, taking a whole different direction. Um, this oozes of white man privilege. There's a line that he says early in the movie, Mitch to be particular. He gets what he wants. Like in his mind, he can't fathom the idea of not getting what he wants. That's the reason he's going as hard as he does to try to fix his marriage because he's not used to getting what he wants. So to me, this is just the moral of the story is you got to be careful with who you're dealing with because sometimes if you might have a white friend, which is not a problem, like white people are cool. it's most ethnicities, but in this moment, this is like a white privileged male that is truly trying to take not just advantage but abuse that concept in the U.S. So that's the moral of the story for me. And that is our episode, man. We thank y'all for tuning in. Truly, our next episode will be a TGIF. You know, we like to float in and out between nostalgic films and nostalgic television. So, what we'll be doing next to conclude our Mother May I month will be our favorite mothers on TV. Now, that could be a good mother, bad mother, dope mother, fun mother. It could be any style, any type of mother that we just connected with. So, don't think that, and we don't have a necessarily number for how many mothers we'll mix it, but we're gonna have a great time. So y'all, there will not be a Wednesday episode. If y'all are new, those that are familiar, y'all know that y'all can tune in on Wednesday. I mean, tune in on Friday. So, is there anything else, Mia G, Ash Bash, y'all want to say about this film, or anything else y'all want to say about the pod before we get out of here?
Appreciate you, stoop kids. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Stoop Kids, y'all reach out. Childishgrownups3 at gmail.com. Instagram, childishgrownups_podcast. Leave a comment on YouTube. We would love to. Hey, send a movie. If y'all say, hey, we would love for y'all to talk about this movie, send y'all childish grown up moment. Like if y'all had an immature moment that you had fun, had laughter with, please bring it in. Y'all don't know the type of joy that we would have after listening to that. But it's time to get on back to the crib. The street lights is coming on. We about at the end of the school year. Looking forward to this summertime. We're going to definitely have some summertime movies. But before we get there, we definitely got to cover one more section of our Mother May I month. So we truly thank y'all for tuning in. Tune in next week, and it'll be on Friday, not Wednesday. Peace out.